Start recording. Start broadcasting.
We have no shame.
We're
no
here.
shame.
We're here. That's right.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
We've been spying on the chat.
TV dinner. Shameful indeed. How's it going, everyone?
Hello. It's very pink in here, or I'm very pink.
Welcome to this episode of Shenanigans Live.
Welcome.
Set up. Katie just got back.
Oh my gosh.
We both just got inside.
It's been 2 14-hour work days for me.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
We still put on a top-notch show. So there's no shame in that. I'll tell you what's shameful. If Katie did her like 2 14-hour days and decided not to do the show. That would be shameful, but she doesn't stand for that. Because Katie stands for getting the job done. That's her middle initials.
Yes.
GTJD.
Which I'm also going to be sketching Indiegogo commissions during this episode.
So we're just going to set things up. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Shenanigans Live. Katie's here.
Hello.
I'm here. You're here. Some of you. Once again, this is a later night episode, so we're going to talk about things that we don't normally talk about on the daytime episode.
It's late night episode. Yeah,
so
we have to do them later because when I was freelance, I could make my own hours, but because I'm working in a studio, I have to be there in those hours, and I can't broadcast at the studio, so I have to stay until I'm done my work.
Mm-hmm.
And all that jazz.
Making sure I have everything set to go. Tell them more about your day.
Well, I mean, I can't talk about my job because I signed a thing that says I can't talk about it.
This is a learning
until
show.
It's out, until it's released. But
yeah, for long hours in animation.
A lot of drawing.
Says Proto Wilson.
Yeah, you get it, Proto. Get it. I'm getting used to for the other storyboard artists out there, I don't use Storyboard Pro too often. I've been using Photoshop for the past couple of years, so I'm just getting used to working with the new software. I've used it once before, but I find when you get used to drawing a certain way, the other drawing tools kind of throw you off a bit. But yeah, that's not much happens when it's a big work day. Yeah. Toon Boom Pro? No, well, yeah, I think it is Toon Boom Storyboard Pro is the title of the software. Yeah.
Doesn't Toon Boom like own all the storyboard software now? Like,
yeah, I think they have a whole animation.
But I bet it's like really nicely integrated into Toon Boom, so it's like.
Oh, probably. I like Toon Boom
done.
because it's like when you board in Photoshop, it's say as in most scenes you have a background and then you have characters running around in that background. Because when I'm working in panels, I have to click and drag it from my thumbnails into the panels and stuff slides a bit. But when you're working with Storyboard Pro, it's essentially like you're just working on the screen. You do your background, you pretty much animate your boards on characters on top of it. And also, you can number everything automatically. You just boop, and it numbers everything.
Oh, really?
Whereas it takes me almost 2 whole days to number scenes when
nice.
I'm working in Photoshop.
That
So that's good for that.
Faster.
Yeah. Proto Wilson says, we draw in Photoshop and export JPEGs and import into Toon Boom. I actually like that. That sounds like a good...
Compared to drawing in Toon Boom?
Well, the thing is how do I explain it? Toon Boom, it's like, because it's vector instead of bitmap, I think I'm right here, things look jaggy. And if you draw... you pretty much need to draw big, because if you draw really small, you don't even know what you're drawing because it's all jaggedy. And if your threshold is too high, it like shifts all the lines around on you. Whereas in Photoshop, if you have a custom brush, you can do nice things.
That's the vector. It's always like snapping things, right?
Yeah,
like
and I'm getting used to it, but
back
it's
in the day.
brutal. I mean, especially when you're used to Photoshop being so, well, generally pretty pliable. Yeah, learning things.
That's your
but,
day.
Yeah, that was my day.
I need to learn this whole job hunt. I feel like there's so much more software. I wish I had more time to learn, like Nuke and some other stuff, which I haven't used. I think it's called Nuke. It's like another version of compositing stuff. And there's all those 3D things, like Maya, 3D Studio Max.
Oh man, don't even get me started.
I can't. That's the thing. Like
Maya's so confusing.
Yeah,
we have it on our computer, and I try and open it up to move the camera around too, because the show I'm working on, I can say this, it's a 3D show. So you can move the camera around anywhere in there. So if there's a shot that's really tricky, you can actually go into the set and move your camera around and get a shot. But I open up Maya and there's so many levels and settings and icons. I don't know what.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like
I
tried to learn Maya with a friend, and it wasn't the concepts of 3D that got me because I could understand that, but it's like, where is everything? and everything is in this whole weird kinetic sub-menu system where it's like on the screen you press a button and then this thing shows up and it branches out to many other things, and in those there's more things, and I don't know what any of those things do. Yeah, maybe I don't understand 3D.
No, it sounds like you don't.
Like I've done like the most 3D I've ever done was like within After Effects, which is like nice enough to let us pretend to be 3D artists, but it's like you get away with it, but you know, titles and stuff still need like Cinema 4D or you know Maya. Like this is why I'm excited for the CS6 because After Effects finally has everything it should have had 5 years ago. Because all these third parties are making filters that do all this stuff. And now After Effects is like, hey guys, guess what? Finally, we're giving you a useful version because it has 3D motion tracking, which you always had to buy these expensive third-party softwares to do that. Or use Mocha, which was a bit of a mess because it's not really 3D motion tracking. It's more like plane tracking. 3D extrusion of shapes and images, so texts. Bunch of other stuff like the roto brush was from last edition, which is very helpful, which I could have used 5 years ago. All these things.
There's so many things I could have used 5 years ago.
Would have made my job so much easier 5 years ago, and Adobe's just like, now it's here, and I'm like,
now you don't have that job no more.
Yeah, now that you don't need these. One of the only things that I thought was interesting but didn't get much use out of was around like CS3. Photoshop introduced this integration with After Effects that was like, you can take, like, say you took a photo of, I don't know, this fine book.
Whoa.
Cautionary fails, no, it's not plugged.
Okay.
But, and you took a picture, like, say it was like here, this angle. You can go to Photoshop and like build this mesh where you can like grab this and go whoop, and then warp out this mesh that would then say this is depth, this is side. And then send this new file type over to After Effects, and it would give you a pre-distorted file that was technically sort of 3D. So even though you can't see like all around it, you can do things like this.
Whoa!
And it would work because it would undistort it and redistort it because the photo's taken. This is distorted, and it would place it down like it was flat, so you can go. It worked subtle. Only used it like 3 times. Very interesting, but never got too much use of it. I don't film boxes often enough. Or take pictures of them.
Of boxes.
Proto Wilson's saying, has anyone looked at Source Filmmaker? That came up today because finally Meet the Pyro came out. The final video, I believe, in the Team Fortress 2 collection of series. Meet the Medic was phenomenal. Meet the Pyro just came out. And then they said was made in Source Filmmaker, so I decided to go back and look at Source Filmmaker, and it looks like nothing I'll ever need right now. Because it's all like, I don't know, like maybe this is an older version I saw. Because it's just kind of like the Halo Reach kind of film thing, but a lot more in depth where it's like you can leave a camera somewhere and then run around in gameplay. And then it records that. And then you can move the camera around that because it's kind of like digital data, which is different than just filming a screen capture, which is like flattened image. This is like Halo where you can move the camera after you've done the animation. The like downside then is it's like, as opposed to the like stop motion or the crazy techniques some people have used in Gary's mod, unless there's some integration with that, it's kind of like it's all gameplay machinima filming. So you can't really, I don't know if you could do like puppetry in real time and film it and then be able to use the like if it works with Gary's mod, then I'm all for it. Right now, if it's just for filming gameplay from different angles, it's like, all right, I can't really use that myself. But once again, this was an older version, I think, of the Source. That was like back in 2000 some other year. But Meet the Pyro. That was interesting.
Check that out.
I think the Medic was great though. I rewatched that one. It's such a good short video. Like and it's interesting when you go back and look at a lot of the earlier Team Fortress videos, because like they've gradually gotten a lot more kind of like a short story as opposed to like these like monologues. Like they really like had a lot more. Not to say they didn't have fun with them at the beginning. Just
talking and introducing themselves.
It felt more like a character study, like a tech demo, where it's like, "Who scratched Sasha?" Or something.
I like that.
And it's fun. But like these shorts are now like fleshed out. Like Meet the Spy. I think it was the Sniper was one of the first ones that was really like a lengthy kind of little bit of business. But I do believe in magic indeed. It was fun though. It was weird because like the YouTube does a thing where if a video is really popular, like as soon as a video comes out, if it hits over like 315 views, it freezes at that number for some reason. And it already hit like 20,000 likes plus way before the counter could even figure out how many people actually watched it or something like that. So good on them. Valve. What's
Good
Katie
stuff.
drawing here?
I'm just warming up
Let's
after
take a
drawing
look.
certain things all day.
Because it's certain we cannot disclose things.
I know.
And there we go.
Wow. Isn't that great?
Take a tour through Katie's studio in 3D.
What? Now we can watch Shanahanigans from this angle.
What?
What's going on?
Oh, that's weird. What? You can't show behind. No one knows what's back here. It's like a puppet show.
We're here for the hard truths.
Oh, okay.
What you hiding?
I can't. Freezing cameras? That's what I'm hiding.
Yeah.
You're moving it too much.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay.
Alright, fine. Let's switch back to regular camera.
Yeah, I don't have much going on.
What do you guys think? Because I'd like to get your feedback, because I realize this show is a lot better when I have you guys to bounce off of.
Oh, yeah.
Because then when everything gets quiet, I'm like,
It's quiet.
dance! Just do something!
was-
Right? TV dinner? What did you think? I see your name up there. You can't hide from me.
Yeah.
You guys are fun at 9 o'clock. Speaking of fun at 9 o'clock, Katie's drawing.
I am. Trying to get a commission done.
As we've mentioned kind of before, if you follow any of our Twitters, Shaggy Shan or KT Shaw on the Twitter. Later in this episode, it will be the spoilerific section. So
There are things we really want to talk about
and
that we keep
deconstructs.
holding off because we don't want to spoil it for you guys.
But it's like, if we hold off for too long, it's non-relevant, and I don't care anymore.
And we haven't had a chance to...
Rip into a movie lately.
Yeah.
After a hard day of work, Katie wants to tear a movie apart.
Just want to rage out.
So later on in the episode, maybe in the next half hour or so, we're going to crack open a can of Brave. We're going to sit
Brave?
back. What? Brave? What? Brave?
Brave. Oh, Brave.
What do you think I said?
Rave.
No.
Talk
Why
some
would it-
Cora.
We're going to pour a cool cup of Cora
Nice, like this.
and then set it to chill so winter comes nicely with a little Game of Thrones Season 2.
Yeah.
I don't have too much to talk about Game of Thrones Season 2, though, because like I really have nothing to complain about, which is... This is like a spoiler to what I'm going to talk about, because I'll just say it's great. That's coming up a little bit later. Yeah, because we were, this is a learning show.
We like to watch TV.
Not that I am like the be-all, end-all knowledge of all things, story-wise in films, but TV dinner says we're going to have to leave. See, this is what I want to figure out, so let's take a poll now, because we got
We'll see what we do first.
We got a couple people in the chat. Don't worry, we got some time.
Yeah, and we'll hold up a sign.
Who here has seen Game of Thrones Season 2?
Yeah.
And y'all have to speak up, because then we're just going to start talking about it. You're like, oh!
Yeah. We'll do this maybe closer to
10.
10 o'clock, unless we totally run out of things to say.
Pro Wilson scene. Okay, so we are going to talk about Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Who here has watched season finale Korra, Legend of Korra, sequel series
Porpoise
to
doesn't mind
Avatar?
spoilers.
Chris says I haven't, but I don't mind spoilers. Is that for everything, Creed Porpoise? Are you good for all?
I watched that.
Watch that. All right, we might talk about Korra first then. Oh, TV dinner. You haven't watched nothing.
Oh.
You gotta stop being so productive and
I
start
don't
slouching
care.
and watch things.
Okay. So I guess maybe we'll start with Game of Thrones. We'll leave
Well, no,
Brave
we
to
got
last.
Korra here, so
okay, we'll leave Brave to last because
we'll do
that
Korra
just
first.
came out.
All right, Adriana7 says, I just watched Brave last night.
There you go.
All right, wait, Adriana, did you see Korra? Well, let's just start with Game of Thrones, probably, because no one's seen that.
Yeah,
No one
I'm just
cares.
gonna launch right into
You
it.
should have read the book. It came out in 97, for gosh sake. Didn't it?
I guess
They were
so.
wild. I actually went into the
Wow.
wiki and looked it
Yeah.
up, and this George R. Martin guy was like, he was sitting there playing GoldenEye in the 64 and drinking his cherry Coke,
Yeah.
and he's like, whoa! And he runs to the table and starts writing Game of Thrones. Like, this dude had that book a while back, and now, only now the series is coming out. And the series just concluded in earlier June, and just like last year, it won't start again until
April?
next April.
Yeah.
And usually...
And I'm not sure, when the next book's coming out. Oh.
He's on the way. It's
Yeah,
happening.
it's exciting. There's
Yeah,
lots
yeah.
of things to look forward to.
Alright, so Adriana's cool with the spoilers. Alright, so we're going to do... What, Game of Thrones first?
Okay, I'm gonna write this down.
Yeah.
And we'll hold up a
Should we
big
do Brave last?
spoiler sign. So
Do we have a
that
sign
no
that we
one
just
walks in.
mount here that says Brave?
Yeah, we'll do that.
If Kansas was working right now, I'd have a constant thing being like, oh man.
Okay, Game of Thrones, Korra, and then Brave
It'd be
last.
something like, watch out for your freedom, Korra spoilers. Or wait, no. Brave spoilers. And then, watch out for easy conclusions, Korra spoilers.
Story translate.
We're going to talk about Korra because I got a bone to pick for those guys. But don't worry, it's great.
Are you gonna rage?
Maybe. Not rage. This ain't no thing
I'll
I
make you
hated.
hold this
This ain't no
sign while you're-
Oklahoma. Let's put it that way. Right now, everything we saw was better than Oklahoma. So if you know my meter of hate, Oklahoma is like the bottom of the barrel. And it's not like a good barrel either. It's a bad barrel.
You can hold this up while you're...
I have to hold it the whole time?
Yeah.
So we'll just be like... There we go. But don't worry, I'm not doing that just yet. We'll have some other things to talk about.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So, what you been
Flux
up to?
Fox is here. Flux Fox.
Sup, Flux Fox?
Alright, Flux Fox, we have to ask you a quick question. So are you cool with Korra spoilers? We're going to talk about that later.
Yep.
It's these things. Gotta watch out for these.
The sign will be up.
Fox.
The sign will be up.
Are you good with Brave spoilers? Because we gotta talk about Brave.
That'll be last. That'll be last.
Game of Thrones spoilers.
That's coming anyway.
Alright, so Korra's gonna be second.
Because I just finished it yesterday and it was like,
or
Monday.
I had to come by because like I was just down here anyway near Katie's, and I knew that like they just finished like the 8 episodes of season 2 Game of Thrones, and I'm like, I know that.
I'm like, how are there only 2?
So I stopped by just to give them the last 2. I went out of my way, one might say, yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, water? Oh, good.
Yeah, we both got Superman mugs today.
Oh, there's also some art I'm going to need Flexbox to do for me. Once I spoil Korra, there's a picture I really need him to draw for me. Wait, does Flexbox draw? Photoshop it. You can Photoshop it.
Art it. Oh, my hands are claws.
Really? That's rough.
Oh,
do artists have like ways to loosen up their like stress ball or punching someone?
Yeah. The problem is when I work from home, I'm really good at taking breaks. When I work at the studio, it's like I'll
breaks take you.
No, I'll sit there for way too long because I don't want to look like I'm not working when people walk by. But yeah.
Flexbox says, "I draw like you, Shaggy."
There you go.
All right.
Excellente.
So let's give some tips for the artists.
Well,
how do you fix your posture?
Well, generally, I had a really crappy chair at work too. I had to go seek out a good one, but I don't know. I mean, we have this chair here that's cropped up with pillows and everything.
Yes.
For hands,
this
I don't know.
Nice.
They say you're supposed to take a break every 20 or 40 minutes.
Oh man,
but
we don't
time
do that.
will whip by.
4 hours goes by, and I'm just
or you're supposed to stand up because it's like you know. I think I don't know if it's clotting or what, but if you sit for too long, it's dangerous because it's like your blood's just sitting in your legs.
Yeah, well, that's why.
But I mean, I'm so in the zone trying to figure out something. I can't just be like, oop, timer, whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe my future self will appreciate that more. Stretches, I mean, there's this kind of thing, which feels really good right now.
What is it? Ow.
You can also go up to a wall and put your hands there and just kind of
do you work near a wall?
Peel off. Well, I'll do like bathroom style aerobics. It's like I just go in there and I'm just hanging, stretching, like pushing against the wall, doing wall push-ups.
There was like a dance fight
in
Step Up 3 in a bathroom.
That's hilarious.
That's pretty cool.
In a bathroom stall.
Well, it's because like
I don't want to disturb anyone.
I kind of missed. Yeah, they both got in there and like, let's do this. Shh. The guy next to us doesn't want to be disturbed. He's on the phone. They're like,
no, and then it's like they need to fight, but then that one guy sits down there in the stall, and no one's doing anything, and they're waiting for someone to make a move.
No, I didn't see the lead up to it, but it was like for some reason the kid with the curly hair is at the club.
Yeah.
And like the other guys come in, they're like, "Hey, you, at the urinal, let's dance." And then he's like, "Oh no!" It's a good movie.
Oh boy.
Stretching's good though, yeah, because I realized some people I know they had to get like special chairs and stuff ordered into their work and things, and I was always all right, but I fear I'm going to get that kind of spine that's like,
well,
because you're doing that.
I know
Sometimes it's gotta go.
Generally, I've got a pretty decent posture, but like I do feel myself slowly just hunching over. But I've also got these things. You're stretching out your fingers. Right?
I used to be able to do 100 a day. I was like,
yeah.
Not those ones, but like the red ones. Like, clink, 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 clink. Creep Barber says dancing at the urinal sounds like a mess waiting to happen. I didn't write the movie.
For sure. But Wilson says Chinese worry balls.
Whirly balls?
That's the ones that you do, the two. I like those.
Or you can have the Bowie ball.
I was so gonna say the Bowie ball. You're like, I can give you anything.
I got the power for the baby.
There was I went to college with an artist who could work with that thing. It was just mesmerizing. Just
dance magic dance.
Yeah, dance magic pants.
And the funnest part, if you watch the behind the scenes, that was a dude behind Bowie reaching his arm around him and doing this.
I'm so disappointed now.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean,
I'm more impressed because that dude didn't even see it. He's just like he's like ass deep in Bowie. He's like doing this.
Pants. That is the dream job.
It is one hell of a job. But it was basically, yeah, it was pretty impressive. And it was like, fun stuff. That labyrinth.
Creepy Porpoise says, well, I'm gonna die. What?
Hmm?
Oh, that's earlier.
Magic is ruined. I'm sorry, Flex.
Adriana says, get massages. Yes.
Oh, did I tell you about my first massage ever?
When'd you get it?
It was kind of for my birthday, I guess.
Oh, birthday.
But, like, you'd assume it would be a good thing, but the bruises, man, the bruises.
They were too rough.
Yeah, man, I had these, like, bad, like, she did this thing where I was like, I
No,
guess
that's
this
not
relieves
good.
the tension,
That's
and
not
it's like,
It's not supposed to hurt.
and then, like, I was bruised on my arm and on my
No.
leg, like, they hit these pressure points. I'm like, is she setting me up? Like, later I'm just gonna be
I
like,
think you're supposed to you are supposed to slowly work into it. You don't just jump on someone and start, no, it's good for you.
Flex says, ask Stephen Bowie. Man, we're off to a great option for my weekly photo edit.
Excellent.
That's all I do. I say classy things. But yeah, massage, like, it was fun, relaxing, I guess, but it's like, man, those bruises.
Yeah.
At points I was like, I
We used to have a massage therapist that came to the studio I worked at, and there were 4 open slots whenever she came in. I think it was every Thursday, and it was amazing.
That's nice.
So good. And I made a Shrub Monkey comic about this. Because my studio was in the basement, and the only way you could get a massage was to, like, sign your name in the 4-leveled slip of paper. It's like you're rushing with the entire studio and trying to get up the stairs and sign this. A lot of times it's like, as the list is going through reception, it's like, oops, sign.
Oh,
and then
really?
it goes on the wall, and it's just, well, I never had a
your way up.
chance. Had to make friends with the secretaries. I'm like, can you please just put my name on
See, it's
the
all
bottom.
this bureaucracy, the system. You gotta play the game.
I can play the game of Thrones.
Yeah. Man, everyone's playing
You get a massage or you die.
Oh, Joffrey. Hate that guy.
Proto, you're hilarious.
Yeah,
there's another. What can you do? Like, for Creepy Porpoise says gonna die, sit too long, blood clots. What I remember something my doctor told me about sitting for a long time, or like even on plane rides. Do leg pumps, just in your
leg
chair.
Pumps?
Yeah, where it's like your toes on the ground, you're alternating like.
Oh,
whoop,
yeah.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
That was the worst, though, that flight
Just
back.
something.
The flight to and back from Vancouver was, like, right near when I, like, friggin' bashed my tailbone during parkour.
That's right.
It's like sitting sucked, adjusting my seat sucked, getting up sucked. Sucked.
It sucked for me because I finally watched the last Harry Potter movie because I had put it off for so long.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, where's that spoiler thing?
Oh, wait, I'm
Harry Potter spoiler! There's a
for me?
certain flashback sequence with a certain teacher. You've read the books.
No, Jim Dale
Anyway,
read
there's a
them to me.
certain crying flashback sequence that we landed right at that moment. And I ended up missing out, so that's why it sucked.
I have to rewatch. For some reason, I just wasn't interested in seeing it. Like, I went to, like, all the other movies, like Night Of.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
dressed up in my Hufflepuff and all that stuff. But it's like, I don't know. I wasn't in the mood to go see whatever Potter.
And I knew it would be the better of 7 because the first one, all the camping was kind of
left a bad taste. I was so bored to death.
Yeah. It was one of those movies I took myself on a date and was just like, bleh.
Yeah.
But no, I went to go visit the folks and we all sat around watching it. It was great.
Oh.
Me, Mom,
Did
Dad,
you
and
do that
Heather.
this weekend? Or?
Yeah, and it was Dad had the surround sound going and it was so loud. It was like being in an actual theater. It was just like, just crazy. And it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon. It's sunny and we've got the curtains closed. And it's family Harry Potter time. It was really great.
I was very disappointed with the Deathly Hallows books, says Proto Wilson. Yeah, I don't know, like, it was a book. I give him that.
I read it really fast. It was the one book I actually went to get at midnight.
You went to the Harry Potter Diagon Alley Street Fair.
I'll explain that in a second. But I was so scared of spoilers that I just read it, I think, 2 days just lying in bed, and I felt gross,
trolls.
like my body hurt, bed sores.
And somehow I didn't get any spoilers.
And then at the end of it, I was kind of like, okay.
Well, it was a little fanficky. It's
yeah.
like, and then Harry marries Ginny, and then Ron marries Hermione, and everybody's got babies.
The funny thing about watching Harry Potter, movie with Dad is it's like something will happen, you'll pause and turn to us and explain why it was better in the book. And we're like, we've read it, you know.
That guy.
But there was a lot of extra stuff that I didn't remember. Where it's like, Neville just doesn't have his day in the sun because it's like there was supposed to be this cool moment where Neville's actually cool, but they like make him like whoop,
They switch it to a banana peel moment.
Kind of, and then later he has his moment, but no one sees it.
Yeah.
So it's like
instead of
he's
Sam,
badass, but everybody blinked when
instead
it
of
happened.
Sam stepping up his game against Shelob, he kind of like tripped and knocked her off a cliff.
Yeah.
Because he came in there with a sword. He's like, I'm like, geez, Sam is nuts.
Yeah, it's.
But there's like, whoops.
Well, I mean,
bonk.
he gets his moment later, but it's what happens. Yeah, it's very much this like the moment where you're like Neville.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. Everyone's like, he like trips and stabs the snake. It's like Neville. He's like, poof.
Yeah.
He goes dun.
I found it funny too. Like I was curious at the end because spoiler. At the end of the Harry Potter movie, it's them as grown-ups sending their own kids off to Hogwarts. And it's the actors
The most dangerous place for
who are
children.
designed to. I know. Can you imagine
Guess how
everything they
many
went through?
kids died in my day, son.
Remember,
Hope
son,
you make it out.
if anything goes wrong, don't tell a teacher. Handle it yourself.
Remember, kids.
Go into the dungeons.
Don't listen to anything your elders say. Disregard safety rules and kill. If you have to.
I know.
The blood of thine enemies will fill thine cup, son. He's
And
like,
watch out for that frickin' Malfoy.
I'm an aura. I don't do nice things, son. The papers don't print what I do.
I know, that'd be so cool.
The Quibbler might, but no one believes the Quibbler.
I want to see Auror Adventures with Harry. That's hilarious.
No one believes it, son.
He's like, Dad, the train's going. Oh, looks like you're missing another gear.
Yeah, well.
But
Whoopsie doodle.
so essentially it's like the actor playing Ron. They give him a pot belly and like.
Does he have like cocaine under his nose all the time?
Yeah, yellow teeth from all the tea he drinks as he
Right,
grows.
of course.
Harry's like a little bit older. Hermione looks like herself, seeing off like her little sister. I'm like, that's not your
Was she
daughter.
like the new Wonder Woman?
She's like, oh, I'd have fun. And
got
I'm
the
like,
jeans.
she looks 18. But it was.
So like, they tried to cast someone else to look older, but she looks just the same age as.
Nah, well, it's.
Oh, wait,
they
is
didn't
it
cast
oh,
them
they didn't
older.
cast them.
No.
They slapped mustaches
They
on
made
them.
them look older. Yeah,
So,
and
like-
there's a thing. It's funny. It's like you can do. I totally suspend disbelief for everything. I'm like, giants in the castle, all right. Wizards and witches, okay.
Magic.
Those kids do not look like adults.
Yeah.
It's like, that's where I draw the line. But there's this weird thing where it's like when you put makeup on young people to make them look old, it just looks kind of strange. Like,
Somehow it worked
Prometheus,
really well in
I don't
Back
know
to
if
the
you saw
Future.
it.
I guess they weren't actually teens.
Yeah.
Remember, like Marty's parents, like he looked great as an
Okay.
old, like I guess maybe because I watched as a kid, so I
Yeah.
had rose tinted glasses of an old man.
Maybe, I haven't studied
But like the dad in Back to
Or
the
like
Future
old
had like
Biff.
the brush over
Actually,
hair.
yeah.
And I'm just like, I believe that he's
Yeah.
Marty's dad, you know.
But then you have like Biff Tannen, who's
He
like
didn't
high school Biff,
bail.
and then like old Biff, and then
Griff, the future
Yeah.
one with like the helmet and the boots that raise and stuff. Because actually, quick side note: today is the date that Doc put in. I don't know about the second movie, but in the first movie he said future, past, present,
2012.
and I think future date was this very day.
Oh man.
I think it was from the first movie though. It's not because the second movie I think was based in 15, but I think the date of the future was 2013.
Yeah.
June 27th.
Excellent.
So that's today. So happy Back to the Future Day.
Yeah.
I didn't
Happy
bring-
Back to the Future Day.
Yeah. I
I'm
didn't
looking
bring
forward
a cake.
to
I'm looking forward to the 2015.
I don't have any Back to the Future stuff.
Yeah.
I just want a Mattel hoverboard.
Well, they're making those. They're not going to work, but. I figure you need a room of positive magnets and you wear a positive magnet board and just kind of. Ooh. They can make the board float by itself. It's not with people yet. Because we have to calibrate per weight, I assume. A hoverboard. And it doesn't work on water, apparently. The book
people
honestly
remember
felt
that.
like it was written by someone else. Conspiracy much? Taylor Wilson? Well, JK stands for just kidding. Lots of people wrote this book.
Oh,
Rolling.
nice. Rolling out.
Roll out. She drops the mic and leaves this conference, and everyone's like, what?
Gets on her knees and just starts rolling.
He's like, now that.
I have to say though, her speech that she
Go
gave
barrel.
the speech she gave at the university, I think, if you guys haven't seen it yet, I forget what school it is, but she gives one of those university talks.
Did she give one of those speeches where she's like, I didn't go to university? I'm like, everyone didn't go to
I think
university.
so, yeah. It's like, this is the key to success,
It's
is
like
don't
her,
go to university.
Jobs, friggin' Gaiman
Gaiman.
all get up on stage and start doing high kicks, and they're like, we didn't go to university.
Thanks
and
for the
we're
honorary
British.
degree.
And
Yeah.
Thanks for the honorary degree.
Waka waka.
I made billions.
Back to the Future 2 takes place in 2012.
Really? Not crap.
Right! You
Which
are
one?
fired!
I could have sworn I would have heard more then if that was the case.
You were talking about that pizza thing. We're there.
Huh. I guess we are
We're
there.
so close.
We are in the future. In the future, we have less hair.
Crazy.
I know.
Boop. Nice. Boop. Show that again in case mom's watching.
No.
We got a haircut.
Yeah, I got a haircut. You happy? Summer. I had no choice.
Is that anyone on Pottermore? Because I just signed up, but because well, you go in. It's like essentially you're reading the book. Because I just want to finally be sorted in the definitive sorting hat ceremony. Because there's a billion things you can get sorted into, but apparently Pottermore is the one.
Online things for that, where it's like, which school are you in? Which Marvel superhero
what's your
are
Hobbit
you?
name?
Who would you date in Battlestar Galactica?
Yeah,
like, oh, Dama. Like,
you didn't specify which Adama.
Oh, I forgot the name of the other guy. Gonna make it funny. Damn it.
Which one?
The XO.
Oh, who's the XO in Battlestar Galactica? 3, 2, 1. Come on, people. Come on, geeks. It's
the guy with the patch.
He was like the old man.
Oh man.
What's his name?
Crack and toaster. Kirk.
Let's see if I can get this before someone else does. It's not Crackle Crank. But I'm gonna write that down.
Crackle Crank. It wasn't Pike. It wasn't.
No, that was Star Trek.
Yeah, I know. Oh gosh, what's his name? Kirby.
It's like Dal or Sal. No.
Sal. That's his first name, which they never say.
Sal.
God, did anyone watch Battlestar?
Did anybody watch Battlestar?
It's so good.
What's his name? Sal.
It's Baba.
It's not.
It's gonna start making noises, and we'll see what happens. Sal Hemsworth.
It's nope.
Oh well, I tried. We'll figure that out later.
It's not Sim.
Commander Sim. No. Oh. Dang. What's his name?
I'm gonna have to cheat.
Oh gosh, the XO in Battlestar Galactica is Colonel
Ty.
There you go.
I didn't even look it up.
Thank you.
Saul Ty.
No, the joke is way too late.
There was a joke?
Damn it! Anyway,
okay.
So you're in Pottermore.
I'm in Pottermore. Pottermore's interesting because it's like you only get 4 usernames you can choose. You can't make your own because it's super uber
it's
safety.
So safe.
Yeah.
You want like sexy buns 27.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's like you just read the whole book and you get. I just don't have time, but I'm interested. I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to be sorted.
I got Pumpkin Wolf Bane 29919. Wow.
Pumpkin Wolf's Bane.
Yeah.
Nice. I
honestly can't take the
is.
rigid quality of the ones seriously.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. So what do you do in Pottermore? Is it fun?
The Fearsome Wizard's
Is
Sexy
it legit?
Buns. I opened it and because I couldn't sort yet, I was like, meh, but I'll get through it.
I hate that. It's like when you open up a new phone and it wants you to do all this stuff. You're like, I just want to call people.
I know, I just want to go on Facebook.
It's like, I want to put all of your Google contacts and Facebook contacts into the phone book. I'm like, no! I don't need to call 250 people.
Why?
I know, it's terrible. That's why I don't sign up for things anymore. Forget it! I have enough accounts to deal with. I got the Steam account, and the Kickstarter account, and the Gaia account, and the Mech Warrior account, and
it's hard to keep track
different
of.
passwords for each one. I have no idea what I did anymore. I don't want them to be hacked and then they hack them all.
I like the Fearsome Wizard's Sexy Buns.
That is a good wizard. So Pottermore, fun, I guess.
If I get around to it.
Speaking of kids with supernatural powers.
Oh, what are we going on?
I just started watching Misfits.
I have no idea what that is.
Misfits is a British show about these blokes who are all juvies, and then they get powers because a blizzard hits them.
Oh.
So this ain't your grandpa's X-Men. Misfits.
That is like true now. It's like your grandpa's superheroes.
My grandpa did enjoy, I don't know if my grandpa's read
well, I mean,
X-Men,
I don't know if our grandparents read X-Men, but
maybe not.
Presumably someone has a grandchild who reads comics.
I don't think this is my X-Men, because it's like, you know, like British television is all about, let's show them breastises. Yeah, so like this show is no exception, because the next episode's like, next time on Misfits, breastises, next time. I'm like, okay. Because, they
I'm
have...
picturing this weird, kid, saying that.
But it is! That's the problem!
With, mousy hair.
They have, they go a lot further. Like, we have in North America, we have, you have your, your 90210s and your Degrassi's. But, it's never really anything more than, I'm pretending to take off my shirt, and then, that's kind of it. In England, they, go whole hog. I was like, okay.
Oh, but HBO.
Well, England is HBO.
Oh.
Basically, all their programming is, let's get naked on England TV.
Well, I find it's what was it? It's North American TV is more gay violence, but sexual. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Nudity.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Whereas it's more...
Well, they have violence too.
But I think it's
they get both.
People are more prudish towards it on regular TV.
I suppose.
Whereas if you see some of those crazy British commercials that are a little bit racy.
Yeah. They always have those commercials too crazy for TV. I'm like, that's for our TV. Okay,
yeah.
That's they open the paper.
We're just oh my goodness.
So far Misfits is interesting. I only watched the first episode. I somehow acquired the entire series, all 3 seasons. But it's they're all kids, and then the lightning strikes, and then they all start getting powers. But it's at first you're going to think, oh no, it's heroes all over again. And you're like, nope. There's a lot kind of nothinger than that. Because I think it's going to be played really low key in comparison. No one's going to do anything too crazy, I don't think. I don't think they have the budget for that. They might, maybe. Some of it was a little weird. But, has anyone else actually seen this Misfits, or am I the misfit in this conversation?
I have not seen it.
Apparently it's been going on for a while. That was 3 seasons. Weren't the Misfits the bad guys in Gem and the Hologram? Creative Purpose says it's really just a time sink, but I think you're talking about Pottermore. Well, fine. If no one else likes Misfits, I'll spoil it then.
The Misfits were the bad guys in Gem.
And the Holograms?
Yep.
I didn't watch that. Speaking of other old shows, what was it? Samurai Pizza Cats is coming on DVD at some point. 2 versions. There's going to be the original, which wasn't called that, and the English dub, which was called that. So Samurai Pizza Cats, very interesting story behind that series, because it wasn't a real series, technically. It was Saban, around the time that Ninja Turtles was really hot. Everyone was trying to get on top of this, animals that fight like ninjas. And Saban bought this weird anime, and they didn't bother translating it. They just threw them to the writers and said, go. Cut it up and do whatever you need, and they rewrote everything. So it's kind of this unique end of an era, I'd say, Pizza Cats, because now everything is done respectfully, and we're in this new renaissance of good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, in the next 15 minutes, we're entering spoiler territory. Woo! We're going to talk about some season finales. We're going to talk about Brave. We're going to show our opinions. Someone stole my DVDs of it when I moved to Toronto. Wait, are you talking about Pizza Cats? The DVD's already out? Someone said there's other DVDs. Maybe it's older DVDs. There's a complete set coming out. Tell me that's later this year. You're confusing me, Flexbox. But yeah, coming up. Stay tuned, because we're going to talk about those shows in less than 15 minutes. Because I really... This will get me going. Because right now I'm just kind of treading water. What are you up to?
I'm trying to track down. It's hard for me to. I'm looking up reference for Indiegogo commissions, but it's hard on my phone. We might not get too much drawing done today.
My phone is good, but I don't know your password, so you can use my phone if you want, because it's super cool.
I was just trying to navigate through.
It just happens to be the HTC One X.
Well, that is very fancy looking.
Yeah, it's ginormous. It's almost impossible to write on it. That's one of its features. It's so damn big.
It's so ginormous.
You can't really do anything.
Its features are so ginormous. Just look at this thing. Oh my god.
Come on, really? It's good features. They weren't sold as a set back then. I think it was just DVDs. Wasn't out. Yeah. There's a lot of series. What else is I'm open? I'm trying. Well, the problem is we finished a bunch of these series, and now I'm trying to figure out what's my next watch. Because there's definitely the Doctor Who, which is kind of on and off with them.
I'm hearing Boardwalk Empire, but I didn't really get into the first episode.
You do want to give it 3 episodes, I think, before you decide. Because once again, if I gave Community just 2 episodes,
I saw the first episode of Community. It was I
didn't like it, as we've talked about before. But after the 3rd,
now we're obsessed with it.
I was just locked in. But I haven't finished the season 3 yet. Oh, so good. When did this become TV talk? Like, a year ago, I didn't watch any TV.
A year ago, we used to be like, blah, with TV talk, because it's like, we live our own lives. And now it's like, we have known.
We'll tell you our stories of music in the woods.
Well, this was kind of sad, too. It was after we finished watching Harry Potter. I remember, like, my mom doing the dishes and me just kind of sitting in the kitchen. I'm like, after an epic movie, life's kind of boring. She was like, yeah. It's like you're just back to normal.
Well, she'd be like, be thankful you have a boring life.
I know that you're not
and
like,
then,
it's some crazy magical
the sirens go off and you're like, no.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's like, oh, damn. Yeah, we all want that magic. That's why we write. To make those magical getaways, those exciting worlds come true where those islands float all the damn time.
Floating islands.
I'm sorry, I was reading, was it Miracle? Makeshift Miracle.
Oh, yeah.
It's a phenomenally drawn book. It's a udon story. Very nicely done. But then, like, ends up in this, like, magical place, and there's floating islands, and I'm just like, there's got to be something else that can float. Because, like, we all love
floating islands.
We all love floating islands. We're all good about that. But I'm like, I was trying to think, what's an inverted floating island? I'm like, well, that's just a grounded island. That's dirt.
Yeah, so or it's like a hole in the ground.
Yeah, like, could there be just lots of holes, like an inverted floating island?
Well, that sounds like a great place to hang out.
A magical place, a bunch of potholes. In this magical field.
I mean, if you want to make the most out of something, I guess.
Because like that's what I worry about. Is there's like everyone's like, oh, there's so many zombie video games and there's so many vampire movies. I'm like, there's so many floating island fantasy worlds. We gotta like be careful. We don't want to overuse it. It's we're a tapped resource.
Yeah.
We gotta preserve the floating islands in a pickle jar until we can like bring them back, like a renaissance of floating islands. You know, so what else could be magical? Yeah. Like this is where we got to think. We got to brainstorm, guys. I know we got some
but is this
out
land
there.
masses or?
What do you think about it? All right, so what
we
other
have floating oceans?
I hope that's always
cool.
Just
this water.
Yeah, there's this one
and
whale who's like, oh
god! And they're this poor whale, and they're like jump diving in and out, up and down.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so that reminds me of an episode of Ren and Stimpy with the bathtub with Ren in it.
Yeah. And he's eating his soap, and it looks so delicious.
Like, did you see the crowd? They can't take it from me now. I had this ice cream bar since I was a child. I can quote the rest of it if you want.
John Kay's coming to Taffy.
People always trying to take it from me.
They leave me alone.
John Kay's coming. Oh yeah, Taffy's coming up.
Toronto Animation Arts Festival.
$90 festival.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm not going. Unless I can get in this press.
There's after parties.
Cool. Are they free after parties?
Probably.
I want to meet John Kay and shake his greasy hand. I just assuming. I don't know if it's greasy.
Yeah, do you shoot him? I've never met him.
It might be. I don't know. I don't want to disappoint you. Could be go either way. That's the exciting part of meeting him now.
Yeah.
Taffy's in his first year. Toronto's really becoming this hub of awesome.
And it's about time.
We have the best conventions for independent comics. I'm sorry, we do. Now we have an animation festival, and Toronto is actually a pretty strong traditional animation. Maybe not so much no more, but there's still a lot of animation in the city going on. Got some stop motion, got some flash.
There is, I think, one studio doing traditional. Yowza,
maybe.
but I don't know how much they're doing. Or like little commercial houses.
Yeah. But the festival's cool because we also got like some screenings and stuff coming to town because there's some barbarian movie tied to the event.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure what it is. It's not for the kids, I don't think, but it's there.
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna be panels and stuff and talks, and this is like right after we had our North by Northeast, which I did not attend.
I missed it. North by Northeast is the music entertainment festival. See, the thing is, I was like getting through my last deadline. I was like, this summer I'm gonna do nothing but go check out music.
You missed the steampunk festival. That was interesting.
Yeah,
and I didn't go
like
either.
The busiest job I've ever had.
The photos looked fun because they were in that old house at Queen and University-ish. Yeah, remember there's that house in the fenced area that's just kind of there, and you're like, what's up with this house? Well, they were in it.
Oh.
They took pictures and they had their hats and their steam. But Taffy, yeah, definitely a lot of interesting. I don't know if there's going to be any stuff tied to Brave. There might be because it just came out, so they might have some talks about that. I'm not sure if
I've heard someone mention that.
I'm not sure who they'd be able to get from Pixar to come up for that, but yeah, hopefully it'll be a time. Hopefully you guys will hear some good things about it, and hopefully it leads to better things.
Yeah, I hope so.
And I have another year, and once I have money, I will go to it.
Exactly.
Are you going to try to go to it, or is it too much
investment? I'm probably going to go if I have time.
Yeah.
Because if I have a deadline, I can't go watch screenings.
Because they're sitting there just like,
I'm gonna try animation.
And like the Q&A starts, and the first question is like, can I leave?
Yeah, pretty much. I can't watch anime. I don't have time to watch. I have to make it. I know, exactly. Yeah.
Can I leave?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We have a lot. Like basically, I should like 2013. That's coming up, right? Are we in that? Where are we?
2012.
Rocking. 2013.
You're jumping into the future.
I should be like go to everything. Like I've never been to the Toronto Film Festival because I just don't know any. I don't have any directors who I like think are amazing in my mind. Not that I'm like, oh, they all suck, but it's just like I don't.
You're not a fan.
I'm not a fan of any directors anymore. Like I'd have to say at the time, like Kevin Smith was my like highlight. But like after the original like 5 films, I kind of like lost interest. Yeah, nothing wrong with him. It's just not for me anymore, I guess. Mm-hmm. But like, I don't really have like that one director who's like, oh my god, blah 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 blah, it's just coming to town. And if he had that name, that'd be really cool, though, actually. If director blah 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 blah.
I feel like even if blah 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 comes to town, it's like I don't even know what I'd say to them.
If he premiered his movie Inverted Floating Islands, I would be there.
The subtitle is Potholes.
Potholes?
Yeah,
definitely. I do want to see that film. Doesn't exist. But yeah, like so I find that's my problem with. You know, the one thing I was going to go see at, like, the Hot Docs was the Bean Elmo, and then I didn't. But then I saw it on DVD or whatever, and I was like, it's alright. You know, it's interesting, but it's kind of like...
It's fun. Don't tell me you didn't get excited when they go into the Muppet Workshop.
Oh, yeah,
There's that drawer of eyes.
I love that stuff, yeah.
And eyebrows. That was amazing.
Yeah, it was fun.
That was so good.
It had moments, but there's some parts about it which I wish they, like, maybe delved in a little more. Got to the bottom. But we already had our Elmo rants a while back. We had our piece... Gotta move up there some days. It's Creepy Porpoise. Is it up or over? Isn't Creepy Porpoise west?
Well, but I think...
And we're kind of south. Like, Toronto's like one of the more south cities.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we should talk about floating islands.
Yeah, let's stay out of this pothole with a floating island. Well, that's my question. I can just go back to it quickly. Inverted Floating Islands would just be a cave, says TV Dinner.
Oh,
alright, TV Dinner, all wise and knowledgeable. Alright, let's play a little role play. Let's do it. Why not? So, alright, TV Dinner, you open the wardrobe in the secret room, and then you step through into a magical world, and the first thing you see is...
Are we...
I'm talking to TV Dinner. What's the first thing you see when you open the magical wardrobe in the magical world?
A bear.
A bear. And the bear says, dude, you're in the magical world. Look at those floating... What's up there, TV Dinner? The bear can't see that far. His prescription isn't too good. He's like, these floating things, I can't tell what they are. See, not that easy. Apples, alright. Floating apples. This is what I'm talking about. Because, like, gravity is founded on apples falling, right? Because, like, Newton was like, dude, that hurt. But now, if we have apples floating, that inverts his theory, and thus it's the most magical thing to float.
Yeah.
Because it counters, like, islands.
Oh, the symbolism.
An island didn't fall on Newton, so we couldn't make a law like, oh, God, like this island's falling on him.
Yeah.
But apples. Alright, so, Newton's law. Alright. Brainstorm, guys. We're making a new story. Alright, we're making this series, kind of like how, you know, you got Edgar Allan Poe with a gun. We're going to make this movie called Newton's Law.
Oh, that's good.
And he's got a gun, and there's floating apples. And he's got to, like, rein them back in.
That's a really fun movie.
Because they're defying his, write it down, Newton's Law.
That'd be
and
a good iPhone
got
game.
2 guns. And there's apples.
Or you could have, like, unlockable character William Tell, and he shoots apples.
Maybe.
But only when they land on, like, the kid's head. It's like,
we'll give TV Dinner 25%.
Mm-hmm. Alright, 25%. Of what?
I don't know.
An apples.
We'll make a deal with
your
John's
contract.
Apples Company.
You just got this crate of cut up apples.
Every 2 months.
Browned.
We'll like check the numbers.
These are not things I wanted.
Send us some apples.
Now, do you want the net or do you want the gross of the apples? Oh. So that's important.
That's important. I wrote down what you'd rather have, apple gross or apple net. Or gross apples in a net. I don't know what you want.
You gotta be careful. You gotta read your contract.
Yeah, that contract could be squirrely. You could have arrows pointing the reverse.
You don't have to sign anything until you get it checked out, too.
Yeah, be sure
Contracts
your
are always
friend checks your gross
to...
apple contracts.
Yeah.
Sounds like an entertaining ye old buddy cop film. So Newton and Tesla, who was it?
William Tell.
Tell. Tesla could show up there because Tesla's growing in popularity.
Tesla's kind of like too popular.
Is he too popular?
Yeah, he's too mainstream.
His star is burned out.
Yeah,
Tesla's no longer hipster.
More, yeah.
He's not indie cred.
No.
We need another discredited scientist. Who else didn't make anything?
God. That's awful.
Anyway. Wow, garbled so much. Any hoozle. We're coming up to the hour of spoilers.
Spoiler hour.
Hide your children.
You got 2 minutes to get out of the room if you don't want to hear.
Oh, spoiler hour approaches.
What are we starting with? Game of Thrones. So maybe we should plug stuff.
Bong. Bong. Well, before those of you who hate spoilers, all right, we're gonna start Game of Thrones. If you read the book, whatever. It's not like surprise, someone gets stabbed.
Yeah, it's war.
Yeah, it's rough. We'll start.
Should we say our goodbyes before for the people who have to go?
Because some people leave all the time.
Okay, I won't plug the stuff then.
Yeah, we're saving that for last.
All right, that's dessert.
That's dessert. Yeah, icing on this cake.
Is you guys sitting through a commercial?
Yeah. Oh, a commercial's probably gonna hit right as well. Like, guess what happened? Buy a car. Yeah. Anything else I gotta say before we enter these waters? We cannot turn back. Yes, go fill the waters.
All right.
I'm just gonna really quickly, I guess, talk about this movie I watched last night for no good reason called Gorgeous. It is by Jackie Chan, written, directed, all that good stuff. It was dubbed, which is very confusing because the female lead, I swear she's the voice of Spike from My Little Ponies, or it's like a woman playing young boy characters. I swear that's her voice, but I couldn't find the credits, and IMDb didn't help either. So if you can figure that out for me, find out Jackie Chan's Gorgeous. It's the name of the movie. Really weird, but very jaw-dropping boxing choreography. So check it out if you have an Xbox and Xbox Live account, or if you have Crackle. It should be free on Crackle. It's kind of like Netflix, but less quality and less in both video and selection. But check out Jackie Chan's Gorgeous. All right, it is the time of 10 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. We'll warn you before each show. So we'll warn you before Brave starts. That'll be at the end.
So if you hate good night.
Night night. We're starting with Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. It's pretty good.
Oh, I think you have to hold that up the whole time.
How do I? Oh,
no,
this?
Spoilers. Can we stick it up on something? Wait, do we have...
First minute, well used.
Yep. So I was excited.
You good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. It's Game of Thrones. Let's just do like a whole series review, I suppose, something like that. Whole season. Okay. So if you guys turn to the first season and we're like, oh my god, it can only get better, it does. Tyrion once again cleans up this season. I
love Tyrion so much.
His best line in the whole series was when he was coming into the throne room and he was saying stuff to Joffrey, and Joffrey's guard was all like, "Is that like, are you threatening the king?" He's like, "No, I'm not." And he tells his guy, he's like, "And if he speaks again, kill him." See, that was a threat. Notice the difference? I'm like, oh, Tyrion's on fire!
Yeah, I like his buddy.
Like, Tyrion was combos of great witty banter. He owns this show. He's one of the best reasons to watch it. On the other end of that greatness is this season. I feel like both Snow and Khaleesi just ate it.
Yeah,
like they were the most boring portions.
The dragon stuff was kind of dragged.
No!
Yeah, it's always my dragons. Where are my dragons?
Yeah, the whole season she's like, "Where are my dragons?" And the other guy's like, "In the House of the Undying."
Okay, spoiler.
Where?
Obviously.
The House of the Undying.
So I thought that. I mean, I read the books, but obviously, I was listening to
the books. Take us to the House of the Undying.
They did. I was listening to the audiobooks though while I was working, so sometimes I missed some things. So that's why I'm really enjoying the series, because I'm picking up on stuff that I didn't see where it was going, or that's how this character came to know that character, and that's how this is setting up. So I'm really enjoying it.
Z at the end. And a TH.
Spoiler.
Okay, I just got that.
So I forgot exactly what happened in the House of the Undying because
absolutely nothing.
But he brings her there. There's that whole secret, sneaky. I don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe he's gonna teach her a lesson. Something's gonna set up, and then he gets burned by dragons. Yeah. It's like they do that. And he's like, oh no,
yeah.
Like she's chained up, and then they're like this big, and they're just like blah.
Yeah,
and then that was it. And I was
like the whole time she was in the House of the Undying, I kept thinking of Scott Pilgrim when he's in Gideon's thing. It's just like, your club sucks, by the way.
Yeah,
I just want her to say that. So it's like, House of the Undying sucks because. Now, if I wrote down half the stuff I talked about during Game of Thrones, I'd just be a Tumblr genius. But like the whole time, I kept thinking the House of the Undying was going to end up being like some awkward comedy club with that guy.
It's just.
And he's just up on stage, and then he's like, "Be sure to tip your waitresses," and they're all him, and it's just awkward and weird. And I'm like, okay, I'm having fun with this series because this part's boring me.
Yeah, I'm wondering. It makes me wonder too. I'm not going to spoil any of the book stuff that comes after this because you don't know that stuff. No. But with the books, what they did was they took some. What R. Martin did was he took I forget what number of books they are, but the last 2 is one big story that was cut in half. So
Yeah.
you follow a certain amount of characters and a certain amount of characters. So if you don't like certain characters and you're stuck with that, things
You
do
can
get
leave
interesting.
Snow in the
but-
dust. Here's my promise, Snow.
You know nothing.
Like, at first you're just
Snow.
like, oh, the poor bastard.
Oh, that's what you're saying about his morals and stuff. But I think he makes some.
No,
nice
my problem with
decisions.
Snow is, like, this whole time he's like, I want to be a man of the watch, blibbity blah blue, and all this good stuff. And he never cooperates with the team. He's constantly running off on his own and doing his
He
own
doesn't
thing.
want to be a member. He wants to lead.
But I'm just like, dude, then leave. Like, don't be a part of them.
not lead.
If you're not, no,
Lead.
no,
He wants to be in
no.
charge.
Because what the guy says is like, you want to lead, but you can't follow.
I love that guy. Yeah.
Like, he told him straight.
But that stuff with Craster was also like, there's stuff going wrong there, and he's got to stand up as the voice of moral.
Yeah, and you get him
right.
all kicked out.
Yeah, and so it's not to the reality of what
Oh,
the watch
fat,
needs.
good, you did. Because he can't, like, solve things. Like, he has great morals, but he doesn't really do anything about them. He just trips in the snow,
Looks pouty all the
fumbles
time.
around, and
"Ugh."
complains about stuff.
He gets told he's pretty a lot.
Yeah, he's a too much.
I like Jon Snow.
I did, but I wasn't. Whenever it cut to, like, snow, like, not Jon Snow, but, like, they cut to snow, I'm like,
You're
oh,
like,
no.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
There's
when it
snow
cuts
or
to sand, I'm like,
"Nah."
oh, no.
You just want to basically still
the
be
two
in-
extreme weathers
Yeah.
bored me the most, but
Yeah.
anything that was, like, green, I'm like, oh, good.
or like scary evil castle burnt out area.
Yeah,
You're like,
like,
okay.
oh, good, it's just torture scenes, not Jon Snow, which is torture.
Poor Jon Snow.
He's a nice enough guy, but I'm just like, I don't know. For some
I have to say,
reason-
the stuff that excited me the most was obviously the Tyrion stuff and the Arya.
Arya's stuff was
Elements.
crazy,
She's
because any
great.
second I'm like, oh, she's going to be caught any second now.
Scary, yeah.
Arya is the little one of the house of the Boromir
She's
guy.
she's the middle child
Sure, okay.
because they're the 2 little boys too. And how friggin' annoying is the oh my god, Theon Greyjoy, who they
Who?
took in and like took
Oh,
care of him. And he's
him?
like, "Ooh," making all these stupid
He
decisions.
turns a leaf, that guy.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a sec, but like going back to Arya, man, I think hers was one of the more interesting storylines this whole season because like she got through some rough stuff. Half the time, I swear, like she's gonna get caught or something, but then like she ends up in all these like sweet spots to like be safe.
Yeah.
And then she gets like a guy who's like her personal assassin, and she can name names. I'm like, this
Yeah,
is
Jack and
crazy.
Hagar, Porter Wilson said. I feel like I wasn't really understanding what was. I mean, I must have missed something in the audiobook, but watching that, I was like, "That's what was happening. This guy's awesome."
But the guy was like, the girl gives the man a name.
Yeah, I love that character. He's
And the
so
man will do
odd.
things. And I'm like, what is... And then he looks away and he's like, ask for some other name. I'm different. And I'm like,
I
oh!
was like, but I like that last actor.
I miss the old face.
I know.
But he was obviously dubbed the whole time. It was weird because he was always... He was a whispery guy, but the loudest guy in the room at the same time. So because he'd be like, the girl asked for a name. But they dub him over as, the girl asked for a name.
Yeah.
So it's just like, that's
I
weird.
do have to say though, like no real complaints. I really enjoyed the series. I do find just convenient that it's like as soon as the blacksmith is going to get tortured, Tywin Lannister shows up and is
Yeah.
like, "Don't torture these people. He's useful."
Naughty, naughty.
He's like, "Well, that's
How
good."
about that? No,
Tywin,
well, this
but
comes
it
down. I had
happens.
this discussion with David about how often can coincidence happen, and in a movie
It
you
can
get
happen.
one.
One.
You only get one. Like only one, they show up right on time to grab your hand, like out of nowhere, because too many coincidences can break a story because it's just like, what were the odds? And it's like, well, pretty friggin' good apparently that they just make it every time. So, you know, there's a couple moments like that throughout. Like it's almost like each episode sometimes has that one coincidence. Not always, but like, you know, like when maybe like, I don't know if what's his face, old man Lannister showing up at the right
Tywin?
time to like save everyone at you know the King's Landing. Like, was that too much or was that like
I don't know.
right?
It
all
was
time-
not that I was like,
it
"Huh,
timed
that's
out that
convenient," but
they
it
were
was
all
such a
making it
small
there
thing
around the
that
same time.
yeah.
Because like Tyrion still held up his part. Like if he didn't do what he did, the castle would have been breached a lot quicker. And like Tywin would have shown up eventually, but he would have been in the back end of like the castle being like sacked. So like Tyrion doing what he did, rousing speech and all seemed to have worked.
That was a good speech.
Yeah. Oh, he was good at he's good at speech. Like I love the kind of development. Like it's interesting to see Tyrion because he seems like a guy who's already on top of his game. He's witty. He's smart. He somehow worms his way out of being killed every time. But I still saw a lot of growth in him. This like his character, like just raising to this like leader, which he never intended to be. You know, not that he's not like reluctant to play this Game of Thrones, but he doesn't want to be king. Get no mistake of that. But he's the only one who's capable of like getting people to know like how to serve. Like even though he's not a warrior, but he set things up beautifully with the green fire and all that stuff.
That was so exciting.
Yeah.
The weird thing about that war is it's like I don't know what side I'm rooting for, because it's like obviously the Lannisters are bad, but I like Tyrion, so I want him to win, but his family is evil. But like,
and I don't like as much as I'd want.
The people of
Joffrey.
King's Landing don't like Joffrey either.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't want King's Landing to be sacked because again, it's innocent people that are the ones that suffer. But then it's like Stannis. He's kind of this cold character. I don't really get him.
He's a wacko, bonkers.
The witch is kind of weird, but I like the Onion Knight. I like.
Yeah. Well, that's the kind of nice thing about the series.
So there's characters that you're scared for.
It doesn't paint anyone as like there are certain idiots who have to just die because they're evil and stuff like that. So like I'm a torturer, and they're proud of it, so they die.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's characters like Tywin. What's his name?
The
old man Lannister.
Tywin.
Like when you get to know him hanging out with Arya, you see kind of the human side of him too, and he seems just kind of like a father figure of sorts.
They have playing him.
He's a very the first time you meet him, he's like butchering a deer, but he's so kind of like in the zone, and it's like this is something he doesn't have to do personally. He can get anyone to like, but he does it, so he is very like he has his things, but he's a very interesting character, which I'm looking forward to seeing.
And obviously, he's very interested in the throne, but he's not interested in ruling it. So he gets his kids and his dumb grandkids to actually sit there, and then he runs everything in the back. Now, the one thing that I remember, this bothered Jerry when we were watching it, when the Red Witch gives birth to that demon thing, and then it kills the youngest. I forget the name of. Oh gosh, there's so many names to keep track of.
The brother of
the youngest Stannis. No, the youngest Baratheon. The youngest Baratheon. It's like suddenly there's this element that like so I can just go into camp and kill him, and then now. Like,
Lady Stark is like, it's not what it looks like.
Oh, this looks bad.
Oh god, she's killing all the guards. She didn't do it though.
But it's like now there's this element that's like this can go in, can it kill anyone? Like this feels kind of easy. It's before everything would happen because characters would make it happen based on their personalities or decisions they make. But now that there's this magical element, it's like, well, can she just send it anywhere? Like, could she send out 1,000 of them?
Yeah,
now there's this. Because the thing I like about Game of Thrones is that the magic is very subtle if there's any in it. But the magic is
growing though.
And it's growing, but it's like when she shows up, it's like, is this too much? Is she now like way too powerful? Because like Jerry was saying, he liked it when she seemed like this kind of full of shit character that it was like, oh,
like
the Red Witch.
You'd rather stuff happens that she said and she's like,
kind of
see, I called it.
Yeah, she's kind of like a wackadoo who's got the ear of the king. That's interesting. But if she can actually make
now that she
demons
has
appear,
like Ghost
it's like,
Baby,
well, now she can do anything.
Ghost Baby with moves like Stannis. Moves like Stannis. It's kind of like.
How gross was that scene though? I'm just like,
well, because they send Onion Knights and he's like, and don't tell anyone what you saw, and I'd be like, whoa, I wouldn't want to.
But then it's like they're framing him like between the legs, like watching. Like what? Right.
It's like that moment from Men in Black when Will Smith has to give birth, like take the baby out of the car. And he's like, breathe. Starts getting pulled around the car.
By the alien baby.
Like so good. What else?
Renly, Renly Baratheon.
Which one's Renly? The younger guy youngest, with the horns?
Yeah.
And he was way into the brother of what's his face, who's now way into Joffrey. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, Lady Stark, who's getting rough.
Yeah. Sansa, where it's like, you're not married anymore.
Yeah.
This is something that bugged a lot of people was, you think Sansa's gonna leave with the Hound? Because he's
weird.
Like, come on, and she's like, oh, okay, and then she's in the
There was no cut to suggest why she didn't, or if they were like stopped by old man Tyrion.
Mm-hmm. Or she just, I mean, she's such a timid character. I feel she just wouldn't have gone.
Joffrey. Joffrey's the tops.
He's the tops.
Yeah. Not Joffrey.
Loras. I said Lancel. That's the.
There's way too many names for
That's the cousin that's boning.
The worst is when like half the cast get killed and there's other characters you have to memorize.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Okay, Proto Wilson says there's something that happened in the book where there's this character that's. I don't know if they're going to do something with it later, but it kind of. She gets hints that someone might help her escape from the castle. And it's like this whispering in the walls, I think.
Well, now
so she thinks, oh, I'll go off with them. And the Hound's freaky. kind of. I think in the book, it's like that scene. It's like it's a little more creepy. So like, the bedroom scene, because it's like he makes her sing him a song, and it's got this
HBO doesn't go that
creepy
far.
vibe to it.
Incest and ghost baby.
I feel like in the show, I think the relationship between those two, I feel like they make it a little bit. I mean,
they grow more. Because he saved her. He's still scary, during the outrage.
He saves her there, and they take out some of the more creepy stuff, I guess, with him.
But then, like, he saw the fire, and he kind of snapped out.
That's his thing.
His young days of being on fire.
Well, I mean,
even
Jerry was like, "What? So fire was it?" But I'm like, if you're in battle mode and suddenly you're jostled out of it, I think it's hard to just get back into it. There's people everywhere.
But then it's like it was awkward that like that's like the first major question of season 3 is like, so where did he go? Or why is she still there? Mm-hmm. Like, either they dropped the ball just because it wasn't time, or like...
I figured they assumed you'd be like, well, she's kind of scared.
Well, like, she went with them, though. That's the problem.
She didn't leave the room.
Well, no. They like, when they showed her in the court, was that a moment that's supposed to be like, dun, dun, dun?
I think it was. I think it's supposed to be a Sansa. Like, she's the queen
She's the
queen of dumb decisions. And I feel bad, because it's like, I know people read the book that they're like, I hate Sansa. And I'm like, she's a kid, though. She's like, she doesn't... she's been raised very gently.
She was going to tackle Joffrey off that bridge, though, way back in season 2, remember? When she saw on the spikes, and then she was like, thump, 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 and the dog's like, no. She's like,
ain't happening.
Dog.
Wah, wah.
That kind of deal.
Yeah, I mean, she's in this insane situation. I don't feel bad for her, but I don't trust her as a character that she'll make the right decisions. But
compared to Arya, who's like nuts now. Like she's seen, like, she pulled the Hail Mary of that series was like when they're like looking for what's his face, the Iron Boy. What's his actual name?
He's the bastard of the king.
Robert
Baratheon.
And they're like, we're looking for this guy. And she's like, you want him?
Gendry?
He's already dead. And there's that kid who had the helmet.
I forgot about that. It was so good.
She pulled that one. Oh, man.
Yeah. What I find it funny, too, is it's a mark of an intelligent character that they know she's a girl, whereas everyone else is so stupid. But, like, Tyler right away is like, girl! Like,
it's a girl. That one.
Like,
right over there.
Blacksmith.
He's just calling it. Duty torturing. Blacksmith. Over there.
Like, he's super intelligent.
Well, because also he was a father, too, though.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing I got from him was he did raise, give or take, all those weirdos running King's Landing right now. God, that smirk.
The drunken knight.
The queen's name? What's her name?
Cersei.
When she's always like, get her down.
She's
always like...
with her wine. Drink.
Like,
she doesn't handle stress well at all. Yeah.
So much happens.
I'm saying in the chat.
Like, if you're paying attention to our excitement, this is like crazy.
She gave birth to Shadow Link, the red woman.
What are some of the highlights?
I don't remember the name of the drunken knight, but I feel he's going to come back as an important character.
Wait, the drunken knight? You mean
the one that they were going to force feed to drink all the booze, but they're like, it's unlucky to drink on your name day.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he's really important. Like, he's as useful.
Yeah. But I think they're changing some things in the series, so you never know where they're going to go.
One thing I was kind of noticing is every kind of major character has some sort of, like, uber swordsman by their side.
Well, they have to, because they themselves aren't that.
But, like, I mean, they're so good. Like, you got the guy who's always like, oh, if I had enough money, okay, who hangs out with Tyrion.
I like him.
Then you have Dog, who hangs out with
Well, he's a prince, though.
Joffrey.
He needs a...
Then you have... the man gets a name, who hangs out with Ari.
She's surrounded by...
Then you have, like, everyone has, like, a ringer hanging out with them.
Well, because now Catelyn, for a bit, had Brienne of Tarth.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think, like, are they all, like, the great reveal of
And I gotta say, she's perfect, from what was in my mind.
Mean?
Yeah, I don't know if the actress is actually that
She was harsh.
She's huge.
She said so 2 quick deaths.
That was so good.
I'm like, oh, no.
She's fierce.
Irony.
I love Brienne. Brian of Tarth. Sorry.
Is that Lady Stark? Like, what we're gonna do tonight?
All these characters gonna be up
there. Stab things. But, like, yeah, like, everyone has a ringer swords person who, like, I swear at some point I sat there being like, they're all connected. Mm-hmm. They were all positioned in these places of power, and they're all going to reveal at some point that they were all set up to be, that's just my thinking.
Oh, you think it's like some group?
Well, because it's like all this magic is coming back.
Well, it's also...
And I'm like, all these crazy swords people are coming back.
No, but they're mercenaries. They're hired swords or knights.
They're all so good at what they do.
Well, that's why they're still alive.
They're balling.
That's why they're protecting the certain people they're protecting.
I guess.
Yeah.
Does this seem too convenient? Because they're all like, none of them like fit the mold really. They're all kind of like off kilt, like I'm really good with a sword. Whoop, stab, and he's just like
I feel like if you make killing your business, you've got kind of an oddness to you.
I guess so.
They
almost had a fight pre-battle.
Mm-hmm. And also the Jack and Hagar is from Bravos, so he's got that same kind of Bravos, the same as her dancing master. Or
so
it's got that same kind of vibe to him.
Probably.
Oh, that'd be interesting. It hasn't shown up in the book.
Okay. You're like,
I'm not.
It's not true.
Spoiling or not spoiling.
I feel sorry for Frodo Wilson here because we're.
I know she's correcting her.
Up all these names.
Sir Dantes.
Gendry Dantes.
This was interesting about the books too. It's the way things were spelt, like Ser Dantes, S-E-R, instead of Sir, S-I-R. Where I was like, that's an interesting spelling thing.
It was kind of like the whole. I watched the history of like why it's called Ye Old. It had to do with typography of the time. It's still the. It's just a T was easier, or a Y was easier than a TH for some reason. Or I don't know. Go check out. I think it was CGP Gray's YouTube channel, and he covered everything.
Fox says, "Think of warfare. If you live through a few battles, you've got to be good or insanely lucky." And a lot of these characters have that.
Just having a couple of scars. How rough was it when friggin' Fisherman dude who came back to take over?
Fisherman.
What's his name? The guy, the son.
Oh, Theon Greyjoy.
Yeah, Greyjoy. When he was gonna hack off the head of that guy with the beard. And he had to take a couple swings. It wasn't just one.
That was terrible. That was terrible. And then he like kicks his head off at the end.
I'm like, oh, brutal. Buddy.
He is awful.
I thought like I was kind of confused for a second because he was like, "This is our boat. Wait, we can go back by Winterfell." And I'm like, he's gonna take the boat to Winterfell and help him in the war.
Help Winterfell.
Oh no, he kind of blew it off.
Yeah.
I'm like, where did this come from? Like, and then his sister shows up. And she's like, "Yeah, we don't actually need this."
She tells him he's an idiot.
Yeah, well, she's been doing that. He keeps thinking he's doing these proud things for some reason. But
it's crazy. And then I mean, he's like, "Oh, you've been raised by your captors, and then your own father, blah blah." And I'm like, who do you owe your allegiance to? I guess some people have a very big blood ties, but.
Sucks to be.
I mean, all those adventures you have as a kid growing up too. Do you forget all that stuff? I mean, his dad's a dick. It's like. Screw you. Like,
I thought he like already set his place when he was like, "You gave me away." What about that?
I thought that was that. Meh. And then he's still trying to please.
He's like, "I still want to please you because we're Ironborn and we take, we don't receive," or something.
Something I thought was cute was
how he burned those orphans instead of the regular kids.
That was horrible. Oh
it was like, well, he didn't do the two real princes, so good on him.
Yeah, no. He just keeps making bad and worse
he's digging
decisions.
this hole.
Yeah.
No floating island will ever plug it.
No. Ugh. Yeah, that character.
Interesting developments for a lot of characters.
Very interesting.
Very curious.
Yeah, and it's fun to watch. Really good, high budget war stuff.
Oh, like honestly, I watched this series.
Top-notch
I'm just
acting.
like the fact they shoot it in a year as it is blows my mind. Because like some people complain that it's like there's almost too many characters to follow, but the fact that they can like cut it down and give you enough time with like sometimes they don't. Like the worst is when they don't have an episode with Khaleesi in it. I'm like, oh no, next episode.
All Khaleesi.
Where's my dragons? I want dragons and boats with dragons in them. My people are waiting for me. I'm like, shut up.
People are like 12 people that she hangs out with. Like it's not a very.
Which is a shame because like season 1, I loved her development, how she changed from being like, all right, brother, to frig you, brother.
Yeah, there was really cool stuff. I like Sir Jorah though, so I mean he's kind of the thing.
Oh yeah, he once again the ringer swordsman.
Oh yeah,
she has him. I'm like, I swear Sir Jorah knows the guy who hangs out with
buddies.
Tyrion, and they know Dog because he's hanging around, and they probably know what's her face. Like they're all connected. This is how it works.
Yeah.
And at the end, they all raise their swords, and the princess appears. I don't know.
They form into a giant robot sword.
Perfect. Yes,
but there's no robot to wield it, so it's just the sword.
It's gonna be great. And they all wield it, and they just run into Joffrey.
That'd be amazing.
Shonk. It says Game of Thrones.
It's just this huge sword, just lands.
Just hits King's Landing. It's like I think
Joffrey is. They're making him worse too. I think in this than he was in the book. I mean, he was just shit in the book, but like
phenomenal actor though. You gotta hand it to anyone.
Yeah, if you can make someone,
very good acting on his part. I don't hate him as a person. I'm not the type who's gonna. Like those fans of soap operas, and I'm not gonna punch him at the grocery store.
No,
like,
but you're gonna be like, you little shit.
I'm like, why are we so mean to those whores?
Yeah, like that
was rude.
That wasn't in the
and
books.
uncalled for. Oh, wasn't?
No, they added that
Really?
to make him worse.
Curious question then. How much can they actually change? Because wouldn't it affect later events through chain reaction?
R. Martin is on as a executive producer, so he has say, but he doesn't have final say, and he's ultimately given it to the guys running it. Like, he trusts them. But
I heard
they are doing things. They're taking characters out. I mean, there's some things
Are they
where
merging characters?
there's a character that I thought would come back later, like the leader of the other Khal that wanted to leave Daenerys when Khal Drogo died. And I thought he was going to come back, but they killed him in that scene. So I was like, oh, I guess that character.
I thought some other guy then was the new
back.
leader because they're like, once he fell off his horse, Khaleesi, they don't like him.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good.
Well, I practice all the voices because I'm like,
yeah.
I keep doing Jon Snow. I'm always like, well, whenever we got to turn off the show, I'm like, it's one more episode for pity's sake.
That sounds like Boromir.
Exactly. He's like, well, alright, the way here, if you want to be in Game of Thrones, all you gotta do is whisper loudly and like this. So either if you want to be the guy with Khaleesi, you go, Khaleesi. They won't take kindly to us taking dragons, Khaleesi.
Sounds like Boromir.
Shut up. And then if you want to be another guy like Jon Snow, you just gotta be like, there's snow. We gotta go. There's snow out there. Yeah. I want to be a Night's Watch. I think I sound more like the guy who hangs out with Snow. Who's like, I read it in a book once.
Samuel.
You just gotta breathe a lot.
What I think is cute about the Night's Watch is they've got like a Sam and a Pip. So it's like he's getting,
and
then he looks like Frodo.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then I guess that guy's like the Merry. So it's like this little fellowship.
Yeah, they're cute.
I don't know how Sam's gonna get out of the pickle he's in.
How's he gonna get out of this one?
I mean, it's like three horns. He's the one who knows what three horns is. And he's just like, and then falls. Like, Sam, no! And then the White Walkers are everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm just like, how do you get out of this one?
You can go like Shaun of the Dead style.
I felt that too, because it's like when you cut to like Arya and Gendry, I'm like, oh, they also have Sam now, where it's like,
look at this little friend of theirs to hang out with them.
Oh, that's cute.
The Fellowship of the Jon Snow, basically.
Yeah.
And if you want to be, is it Richard? What's his face? Who's like the Targaryens?
Oh,
the Dothraki girl. I had a spear in my stomach and a whore in my arm.
That's pretty good. Nice.
That's basically, yeah. Game of Thrones is a great character study. If you want to practice character, you just like pretend to be everyone and be like, kill him. I'm Joffrey. Okay. Hello, everyone. Everyone should die.
It's the Queen of England.
I am Joffrey. You listen to me. All right, maybe not all.
Holy.
But I can do a couple.
I have to say though, it's heartbreaking. Just like at the end of the Battle of King's Landing, and Tyrion's this tiny little
he downgraded.
cupboard, and
that old guy gets his 2 cents. Literally, he like throws him money. He's like,
yeah, like
here's for
everybody's so shitty.
Remember what you did to me when you were about to cut off my manhood?
You see too much of that guy almost naked.
Oh, you see too much of everyone almost naked.
Yeah.
It's a very naked show. Very much like British television.
HBO. Yeah, I knew we were gonna go.
Very much like Misfits on BBC.
But it breaks my heart when what's the name of the eunuch?
Oh.
Frodo Wilson. What's his name?
He's not Littlefinger, right? Littlefinger's the mustache guy, right?
When he says that what you did will not be written down in history books. No one will know about it except, those of us that do know, thank you. Like, I was like,
yeah, he did it for the realm. He's like, we probably won't see each other for a while. It's like, well, he's not a power player anymore. Yeah. He's not the hand, so he's nobody. I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah, there's no way he's going to get in.
He almost got killed on the field. That big guy was going to axe him a question.
I remember, too, because when I saw it, I was like, isn't that, like, Lannister?
Yeah, it confused me for half a second, because, like, I had to rewatch that clip.
Yeah, because I was like,
a guy gets tackled away from him, revealing a big guy. Then he does like a smirk. I'm like, oh, it's his guy. And he attacks him like, oh, wait a second. So I thought maybe the smirk was like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
But then it was.
But then you realize, oh, it was treacherous.
And then his guy speared the dude. I'm like, good job on you. We'll be wrapping up this Game of Thrones talk because it's almost the half hour.
We're going to move on
to Cora chat. Cora cackles. But Game of Thrones, fully recommended.
Very enjoying it.
You may think, oh, you hate Jon Snow, you hate everything. No, he's a beautiful boy. It's just some of his scenes.
They are the two prettiest characters.
He's very pretty.
Him and Daenerys.
Some of the scenes just drag. Wait, which one's Daenerys?
The dragon.
Who's the helper of He's the other guy who the queen starts shacking up with. He's the minstrel-looking guy who has like the hat, and he's like, "No, don't tell anyone."
Oh, that's the Lancel.
Yeah, that poor guy. Anyway, okay.
What I love about that scene, that whole sequence as he goes in is like dwarf, and he's like, giving him orders, and then in that one sequence he manages to make that guy
submissive
total bitch.
So bad. Like, it's amazing.
So good. Like he knows right away he's sleeping with the queen.
Oh, and finally, of course, the other Lannister has been engaged just about the whole series. Jamie's had a rough time.
Jamie's a weird character that I'm like. Sure. I don't think I'm ever supposed to like him. I don't like him because he pushed Bran out the window.
Yeah, that was the very first thing, but he's got
this kind of weird, charming self-awareness.
He's not as scheming, though, because he's not as important as people think he is. Like, and he knows that his father doesn't really respect him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's almost as... I don't even know who his dad likes, honestly.
I don't think he likes any of them.
Yeah, he's like, friggin' kids.
Yeah. And with Arya, he's like,
that guy, my daughter. He was a curious case, and then Lady Stark letting him run. It's just like, this isn't gonna help.
Yeah, it's like, you really think they're gonna give up the girls?
Like, they already tore, like, the queen of tearing up letters already had her say, but whatever. Once again, Game of Thrones, do yourself a favor. Even if we settle this and you're like, oh, no more surprises, check it out. It is definitely a treat.
Sister bonking.
I haven't...
Yeah, it's awkward.
Yeah, that was very hard. I haven't read it yet. I haven't heard it on book on tape or anything, but I enjoyed the series.
A friend of mine is... I did listen to the book on tape, and on Twitter was mentioning listening to the book on tape. The voice actor reading it is like this old dude, and so the sex scenes are really uncomfortable. And I remember just being like, "Oh, don't describe shit. No."
No, for just, great details.
Yeah. It's just, yeah.
You lifted nothing. You're like, oh, no. Couldn't they have made this more like Android's Junior Electronic Sheep and have like a male and female cast?
Where they bring in the sexy voice
or
for
like
the sex scenes?
Rose Madder, read by...
Game of Thrones, read by Stephen King.
Read by Stephen King. Okay, let's do this. And then he came in and grabbed the sword and...
I don't know what that accent is.
Didn't you listen to Stephen King? He's a wormy fellow.
Yeah, I've listened to him read a lot of books. I don't remember sword.
He pinched a tennis ball to make his point.
It started to sound like a weird Woody Allen.
I do that with everyone. Alright. Next spoiler warning. We're moving into Korra territory.
Korra!
Or would you rather Brave?
We'll save Brave for
last. Will you Brave the end of the show? No.
Okay, so guys, this is your 3, 2, 1 Korra warning. Korra! So,
right.
12
so first,
episodes?
actually, who here has been watching Korra? Just curious.
Who's been watching Korra?
Waiting on you.
Everybody left.
Me! Alright, I assume you guys all saw the ending? Oh, Adrian says, yeah, that's okay. So Korra, man, that series started off with a bang.
Very fun.
Very fun
Love
series.
The characters.
Biggest hang up most people do have is the love triangle business, because it's...
I guess because it was like... Oh, we're just going into negatives.
Alright,
first off,
the dog is adorable.
Amazing.
There's the kids. I love Tenzin.
I love Tenzin's kids.
Like the first thing that really blew my mind
Lynn.
Of how cool Tenzin is he's a very stern monk character, but he's also a father of like 3 like little runts, which is a very interesting like position to put on this kind of very stern character.
And he has these funny character breaks too.
It's like take Qui-Gon or one of those like Jedi and just throw 3 kids in their life.
Yeah,
that sounds like a comedy where it's like and then they go on a trip. Yeah, and it's like a road trip movie. But it's like it's very. I think they did a very interesting. And Proto Wilson says I like the little airbender that farts.
Oh yeah, that one's so cute.
One of the greatest scenes with those kids though was when it's that firebender. He's cute. He makes you what? What was the word? Make you something in a bad way or in a good way?
Yeah, is that the one who drives you crazy?
Drives you crazy in a good way or in a bad way? And then she just
way?
goes poof, and like earth bends them away from the scene.
That was really cute.
So there's some really funny moments.
When the little girl wants to hang out and then she like shuts her out of the room and it's like it's just so
there's some phenomenal comedy. The first fight scene with the chi blockers is excellent.
Super good.
So well done.
Characters are great. Bolin is probably hands down my
Bolin.
I think he's my favorite of the 3 main
Bolin's
characters.
fun. But going to the moment when Bolin walks in on them kissing, I didn't know what his reaction would be, and it was more perfect than I could have imagined.
And it was the best reaction I've ever seen a character have, where he just turns around, runs away,
and he starts crying.
I love him,
and throws his face in the bowl of noodles, and it was just Bolin. Like it was this perfect moment for his character because he wasn't gonna like pull a Sokka and become serious all of a sudden.
The thing is it's like I really enjoyed the first season Sokka, which sometimes annoyed me a little bit, but I feel like Bolin is like that. I think perfect
the first
blend.
Season Sokka was a little too jokey. Like at every given point, he'd like drop a
Bolin
joke.
just got this like innocence and like just but and like his lines sometimes the dialogue is really funny. Like I've cracked up a lot just with things he says. The fighting is so good.
I like there's a scene when like the guys were like the guards showed up to that secret base where the dad was and he's like, you guys don't go anywhere. But then they tied up that guy and he's like, you don't go anywhere. See, you said that to us earlier, and so
I say it to you.
Like he does a lot of funny like fourth wall type stuff, which is great.
There is funny dialogue in there too, where it's what is it? It's there's one sequence where they sneak into a minecart and it's like the minecart's in the enemy base, then this empty minecart comes out and the two soldiers are looking at it and the guy's like, it's empty. And the guy's like, yeah, I can see that. And it's a really funny reaction that you have to someone stating the obvious in a cartoon.
Because there's a lot of moments
and
like
there would be stuff like that, which really cracked me up. So I
Flex
feel
saying, I'm so interested in learning more about Lynn. She has her mother's last name. I find interesting character traits that she sometimes.
That's a good point.
Actually reminded me of. I was just going to say. I love when Tenzin says, "Don't bring my mother into this."
Yeah.
Korra.
He's got that line too, where it's when she's yelling at the chief of police, like, "You're the worst." He's like, now, Korra, like, we'll handle this like adults, and walks away. But you really are the worst.
Yeah. There's that one moment on the very first episode when, out of nowhere, one of the little girls goes, "And what happened to Zuko's mom?"
Oh yeah.
And you're like.
And then she goes, now that is a very long and interesting story.
Like, the only reason they had that line was just because they dropped the ball at the end of that season. And, like, I even asked, like, I'm not going to name names, but, well, actually, I don't even know if I got answers. But, like, I asked even one of, like, the people who worked on the show, and it's just like, why did they bring up that Zuko's mom thing at the end of the season? Because it was just like, it was awkwardly delivered because his dad was in. If you haven't seen the end of the, well, you should have. The end of the first season of the end of third season of Avatar original series. Fire Lord Jerk is in the jail now, and Zuko comes in and he's like, "What happened to mom?" And you're like, "Whoa, this is a tense moment." And then it just cuts to them all hanging out, and then he just joins them like, "Hey guys, I'm hanging out too." And you're like, "Oh," because they had to do that Star Trek. Let's all pose at the end of the episode, the end of the movie thing, and have that moment.
Is that Star Trek like the...
Well, just like the Star Trek movies, whenever
they all
have to do something.
Because people are taking pictures now where all the Star Trek crew are at Comic-Cons, and they're all sitting in just fold-out chairs, and you get to stand behind them.
Yeah, that's amazing.
$70.
Amazingly sad. But it's like, it was a weird thing where it's like, it felt either you shouldn't have seen Zuko after that scene, because it would have been like, oh my god, it's serious. And he just shows up like, hey guys, let's play volleyball. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Because it was too much of a tonal shift.
Well, because it felt like he was off on another adventure.
Yeah, they should have left him at that scene and not seen him again, because the episode ended like the scene after. Or just not have that scene at all, because it was like, what happened to mom? So I'm like, is this for the next season?
I assumed she
and to think if the Korra series was supposed to resolve that, like, that's way too fanboyish, because no one really has a connection to that storyline.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I'm always like, there's moments where you're like, oh yeah, she's the granddaughter of that character I know, and oh, that's the son of that character. And it's like, why is all the important people, like, I know you do want to tie back to the original series, but sometimes it's very Star Wars, where it's like, if you read any extended universe stuff, if you just dropped a bomb and hit certain amounts of characters, there'd be no trouble in the Star Wars universe because they're all connected somehow.
But I mean, you're saying they're all connected though, but if you went through all this together, you wouldn't just disperse and leave. Like, there's a reason that they all hang out together.
I know, but also they all become like the best people in the city.
And her kids would happen to be hanging out. And you've also got the weight of having awesome
the
parents.
Avatar statue of the city.
They saved the world.
Sokka was the law and order. And she's the police
They helped
chief.
save the world, so they're going to help continue with this vein. It
but
makes
I feel
sense.
like it does in a way, but it's almost like as if you're the world savior, all of a sudden you get this meal ticket where it's like.
But wouldn't it be fun if it was like now it's Lynn as she's working in like a restaurant or something?
Because I feel that'd be more realistic to a certain degree. Because it's
then,
like what job do you have after you save the world? It's like, good job. It's like, now can I have money for groceries? And it's like, well, who's gonna give it to you? The government?
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like, you know, like in Titan AE, go back to that quickly. At the end of the movie,
That's a segue.
yeah, I don't know why, but I was just reminded of that, like, he's like, they make New Earth, and he's like, I'm going to name it Bob, you know? It's just
well,
like,
you don't get that decision.
it's like, well, that's cute, but like, will they like go, who does he have to call now? To be like, okay, so I made this New Earth. I'm going to call it this.
Well, the thing is he's like, hey guys, I have an Earth, and then it's like the giant galactic bureaucratic system's like, oh, okay, we'll take over this.
Excuse us,
and then you're like,
guy
oh,
who
but,
named it stupid names.
Like
Bob's a stupid
he's
name.
He's not the king of...
Yeah, you're not the king. You know, it's that thing. Like, it's consider once you save the world, then what? Like, when Luke... Let's just go Star Wars quickly. When Luke, Han, Leia...
I thought we'd buried that.
No, there's one more time. They blow up Death Star. It's like, ta-da! And it's like, now Luke is king. No, he's just another schmuck. And I like that. Because the next episode, next movie, he's just riding a Tauntaun. Mm-hmm. They didn't put a crown on his head and be like, he's the king of the galaxy.
Tauntaun's like a status thing.
Oh, really? He's like, he got a Tauntaun.
Only celebrities ride Tauntauns.
Maybe. But I found that kind of more interesting, how it's like, you're just another schmuck now. Like, you did some great stuff. It's like The Wire. There's a line in The Wire. I didn't see it, but I heard this part. Where it's like, after they finally solved the big case, this has been like the series-long thing, and then the guy's just like, well, there's no parade. Now we're on to the next case.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, like, award ceremony. Like, yeah, you get a medal or something, but it's like, now let's continue our job. It's like, that's it.
Yeah, you did your job. I mean,
That's
you went above and beyond, but...
Yeah, so it's like, all right, kids, Aang, Sokka...
I wonder what that feels like to get that paycheck.
You did a good
after
job.
That, like, job.
Go home. Oh, freaking...
Well, we haven't met all the kids. Maybe the other ones are disappointed.
The kid in the flying wheelchair just like didn't amount to anything afterwards.
I love that Zuko though. Poor guy. I love that Zuko's like a 35-year-old man with like a 16-year-old voice.
No, that's not Zuko though.
No, his kid.
Yeah.
Grandkid.
Okay, so all right, let's go back. Sorry. So now we're gonna talk about Korra. Let's talk about. We talked about how much we love it. It's great. Great characters. Had a couple fumbles along the way. They're not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. The one that I guess we just kind of led to was Zuko is great. Just so you know, he is Zuko's descendant. Mm. This dashing Gaston-esque individual has the voice of a prepubescent, angry warrior kid.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Namely, Zuko's exact voice actor.
Yeah.
I have nothing wrong with giving that dude a job, because I actually caught Aang's voice somewhere in the series as a little kid somewhere. What? Is that a Hook reference?
What?
Is that Hook?
Yeah, he plays Rufio. Zuko.
Rufio?
Yeah, the
kid who slam dunks in the skateboard?
Slam dunks.
How old is that guy?
They're all the woman who voice acts Korra is like late 30s, I think.
No, that's fine. I can understand that. But like Zuko's voice still sounds very like crackly voice. Alright, my problem is they did it so you know. Like, couldn't the name Iroh be good enough?
And he looks like Zuko.
Yeah, but no, they got
eyes.
this guy who I swear looks more like a Gaston than a Zuko. Mm. He's like beef and you just want to get some grade A beef off this guy. But, like, he has the voice of, like, this little kid. Mm-hmm. In my mind, mainly because, yes, it's Zuko's voice. But even if it wasn't Zuko's voice, even if it was, like, no tribute to the original series, it was like, let's cast this guy. Okay, you, I'm a military leader. You, I hate people. And, like, perfect. That one. The raspy, weird kid. And it's like, it doesn't suit the character at all, and it was very distracting for me because I couldn't like put it down. Like I'm sure for half a minute all the fans were like, "Yeah, Zuko's voice," and then after the next episode, they're like, "Oh, it's Zuko's voice." And nothing wrong with the voice. The voice is great for Zuko, but that's not a good casting for that character. It was very distracting. I'm sorry.
I don't think it's horrible.
No, it is.
Maybe I would have preferred some a little older sounding.
Yes, like anyone. No, I mean, I'm not being rude in the sense of like I didn't look at a better job. I mean, like just it didn't suit the character. It felt wrong, and I know like visually in life, like me and David were talking about this. People can have voices that don't suit what they look like, and it's like oh
yeah.
But in animation, it's trickier to pull that off because it's like everything's
yeah, because you end up with this island of Scottish Vikings.
Yeah, you end up.
Oh, where's my dragon?
You end up with a dragon with an island full of American children
by the way,
with Scottish parents. And it's just something wrong with it.
Maybe they stole
that you can get away
village.
with. I'll give them that. Because, unfortunately, I have to pull out because it's a kid's movie. I hate pulling that out, but sometimes you have to do that. But there's no excuse, unless there was a contractual thing that Zuko had to be in the series as a major military character.
I think it was just like, they wanted to give something into the fans.
I felt it was just a lazy effort to say, he's related, he's got his voice, exactly. And it threw me, because I'm like, is that old Zuko? Is he still beautiful or something?
Yeah, I was thinking. I was like, oh.
Because like dudes your offspring can have a different voice. They don't often have the same voice. Like they don't. How did you feel about Tahano's lazy voice acting? Who's Tahano?
Tano.
Tano?
Tano. Was that the water bending guy?
Oh, was it?
The bloodbender?
Was he the guy? So he's the guy who was like,
I didn't mind it.
I'm
just kind of
my...
like... He's that kind of lazy character. So.
The whole flashback... Wait, he's the guy with the long hair, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, you've overstepped your bounds, Avatar.
Yeah.
I don't know. The only weird voice acting I got from him was when he had the monologue, the whole backstory.
Yeah.
You want to know the truth? Well, there one time I was on an island, and my brother had the blood bending, and he liked it, and I didn't. And I was like, that's kind of... He talked too much.
I think this is where
he's good at speeches.
We start to get into some of the problems with maybe the season finale that some people are having.
Okay, so quickly, I guess him being the brother of Amon meant nothing to me. Because it's really doesn't mean anything. It's interesting to be like they were so shocked, like Jig was your brother? I'm like, that changes jack all though. Like maybe the only revelation that goes on is your own brother stole your powers and your bloodbending?
Sucks.
That's about the only thing that I got out of.
When I found out the power stealing was bloodbending, I was kind of like, oh.
Well, that worked for me though. Because
Because if it's bloodbending, then that means you could technically fix it.
Yeah.
Once he's.
I figure it was kind of like Sylar.
Or is it like breaking something?
I figure it's kind of like going back to Heroes. It's kind of like Sylar, how his ability is like he has like this weird clockwork ability where I don't think they never really explained it as far as I've watched, but Sylar didn't really like steal your powers. He like went into your brain and figured out what made it tick and then did that to his own brain. I think that's what he did, and that's kind of what I got out of bloodbending, being able to stop your bending abilities. Because it's like, oh, that stream there is what connects you to the elements. Meep. Pinched. But he claimed it was a thing of the gods kind of thing. I'm like, okay, I can buy that. I buy that. Them being brothers is meaningless. Yeah. It's not a revelation. I find there's too much important in most narrative put on, like, they were related. Like, okay, maybe in Game of Thrones that's a big thing.
Everybody's related.
When they do
it's
things
all about
they're
bloodlines.
Related. But in this, it's kind of like, he was his brother. That changes nothing to me, because now we have to have a monologue explain the whole backstory and why it's important in the last minute. And it's important. And we're done with that.
That being said, that last scene with the two of them kind of made me like...
That was actually a cool moment. That was
really
unexpected.
well shot, very unexpected, and very satisfying.
The end when they're both in the boat, and they're like, I'm on a boat. Get it? I just made that now. Oh, noes! Oh, noes! Anyway, Amon was on a boat with his brother, and they're like, we can start again. And he's like, yeah. And he gets the electrical glove, and pretty much he knows what he's doing, too. Because he had that tear, and I'm like... And then
because they're even like, we can start again, and they're both just
they can't.
Flying.
They're not going to be able to, and like that was a very powerful.
And that in itself, I think, made the flashback kind of like more.
Okay, yeah.
It made that like, heartbreaking.
Come on, buddy, let's go to road trip.
It made it heartbreaking just how much their father ruined, like that. That like.
I guess the problem was it was too much in too little time to just be like, we were brothers. It was really important, heartbreaking. It's just like, okay, go now. It's like, oh, okay, they're brothers. Like they're. I guess it's kind of the thing where it's like the audience is supposed to know it's important. It's not that they made it important. It's going back to being like, he was his father all along. And you're like, oh, and nowadays it's like, after
you come to expect it after Star Wars.
Yeah, when you saw it in Star Wars, you really had no lead up to that, and so you can even say if you like analyzed it, it wasn't as deep as it could have been, but it worked for what it was. But nowadays, it's like if a character's revealed to be related to another, why is that important at all? It's like, is it because...
Well, at this point, it feels like it isn't.
Yeah. It's overplayed, unfortunately.
Actually, no, I was going to spoil something else, but it's totally not related.
The big elephant, the water-bending elephant in the room I'm coming up to. So.
Going to get back to that in a second. I know there's another season coming up, so they'll probably address this too. I think some people are worried that the fact that Amon happening to be a bender and stuff, and then... what am I trying to say? Even though they went really crazy with it, there is a point, I think, that the Equalists were making that was actually making sense to me, and that's why I was finding an interesting opposition in that, people are powerless against benders, and
every major war in that history was because of benders.
Yeah, and that in itself was really interesting. So I'm kind of like, so now that Amon is shown, is the Equalist Party going to fall apart because they're a bunch of terrorists? And I guess that's kind of like, oh, they were the bad guys. But I feel like there was an underlining point there that was interesting. That
I think-
that's the way a lot of people felt in the
Yeah.
city, even though Amon and the Sato Industries were able to start a war because of all their money and power and influence. But I feel like it didn't, like, Mustache Guy was just like, oh, heartbroken. You know, like,
He was a wonder.
like,
Oh,
and I mean, they were bad about it. But
so, my favorite one of that scene was, you lied to us. You're a bender. I hate you. And he runs at him and he gets bloodbender. He's like, oh yeah, he's a bloodbender.
why didn't I see this coming?
And I want that
didn't
guy-
think you'd use it on me.
But I want that guy to get thrown, and then another guard is like, you're a bender. I believed in you. And then that guy gets thrown, and then like there's this lineup outside.
Yeah, like the lineup of people getting
I'm
their
like,
powers
go
stolen.
tell someone. Don't attack him, you idiot.
Yeah.
I definitely feel there's a lot more to that because whenever he goes, bending's bad, Korra never had a response
She
to
doesn't have a
explain why
response.
it was good.
So I guess
And
my
even Tenzin to that extent, like the
Yeah.
only reason bending was good was because it's like history, it's religion, but like there was no actual definite explanation for whether it was good or not. Like I know Metal Lady is all like, I have to protect the last of the Airbenders. He's like, okay,
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
that
There's
makes
only
sense, 'cause
4 of
it's
them,
just
3 of
the
them
family.
left, whatever. But no one ever was able to say why bending was a good thing,
Yeah.
aside from tradition. And so that.
Well, I mean,
left a
everybody was so
very-
horrified to lose it that it was like bending is the most important thing.
Yeah, it's like, we
but
can't
it's like
lose
say
this.
you have a skill, you know, and then it's
I have a
it's-
trade. I go to the factory 9 to 5. I use
No,
my
no,
electrical
but
bending,
it's-
and I met the.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he's not using.
You remember the thing that was so important in the first series
I'm
when you had to
making
channel your
cars.
heart?
Yeah.
We got a deadline, damn it! So get that
Yeah,
electricity
you
going.
don't have time to be
Bend that
inspired.
lightning. Don't think about your
I
families
feel like
and
it's
your
almost
fears.
like if someone takes away your inspiration or
Yeah.
that thing that makes you you. But then there's a lot of people who don't bend that don't do that. But
Yeah.
it's like if you're a dancer and then they take away your dancing powers. That sucks.
That'd be the worst.
Yeah. So
If like
that's a stupid analogy.
Step Up 4, this guy with a mask is like, I danced my legs. And they're broken.
Yeah.
Now I will take away your dancing.
I guess the problem though is that it's like if the mystery is what's intriguing, and so I find that maybe there
Lost.
is no totally satisfying way to explain it. You know, I like that you don't know who Amon is or how he has his powers or how he flips around with his arms behind his back doing cartwheels all the time.
Yeah, and he dodges just about everything ever.
And it's like, you know, the explanation makes sense, and
I think, well, the second
but
thing-
it won't ever be as exciting as not knowing.
Yeah. Well, here's 2 major things for you writers out there, aspiring writers. 2 things are fine. As we just said, the importance of the reveal of relationship, of family, is overblown and too much. And the same as what's behind the mask. Because I find, like, everyone is so curious about, like, even the Meet the Pyro video that came out today. A lot of people were upset that they didn't get to see the Pyro's face.
I'm
And
glad
like,
they don't.
Why is it important, though? Like, what would you gain to see, oh, he has
Hey, you guys
freckles?
remember Boba Fett?
Yeah,
Remember how uncool that became when you suddenly knew he was like
Yeah.
of a billion clones and there was a baby Boba Fett?
Like the whole deal of like, but what does
Like-
Master Chief's face look like? I'm like, what does it matter? He could be a ginger with bad dental, and it's like that makes just about as much sense if he had black hair or if he wore sunglasses behind the mask.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like, why is the face like? Maybe it's just a human thing that we need to know. The biggest mystery is what do we look like?
I think the best place, I really like the way that was handled in spoilers, V for Vendetta, where you never
Yeah.
see what his face is like.
It wasn't important.
Because it wasn't
was also
important.
burned off. But the point
But
is,
it wouldn't matter what it looked like.
But like, why would it matter? Yeah, his like kind of like Amon in a way. His face was the mask. This is getting deep now.
Yeah, well, it's like Darth Vader.
Darth Vader was the mask.
And then he became the
He's just a punk.
Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, and it's just like, why is it so important to see? Like, why? Like, once it's revealed, is it for our benefit to be like, haha, he was a weak man all along, and we were
It's
better than
because
him?
we're curious and everybody wants to know, but we don't want to know. We don't want to know.
Because like Amon's face, like.
His mask was interesting.
It's also really weird the fact that their dad had a facelift and then their kids look like their dad's facelift. That's neither here
I
nor
was
there.
like, why did he get a facelift?
It's like, well, his dad like changed identities and
And
had
then he had a
surgery,
facelift and went to
and
the
then he
north.
had kids who
But in
looked
the
like
north,
his plastic
it's
surgery.
like it feels like they're so cut off that they wouldn't even know who Yakone
It's
is up in the water.
It's like that
tracks.
moment in Jurassic Park where he's like, Johnson, I got Johnson here.
Yeah.
It's like nobody
Nobody
cares. It's like, oh my god, it's Yakone. Who's that? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
We don't
he's in
have
the middle of the
telephones.
boonies.
I don't know, something like that. But yeah, it's like, why is...
She's like next door neighbors to Katara, and she's always like, that man is very familiar.
It's very
Can't put
striking.
my old brain on it.
I sense evil blood running in him, but him? Whatevs. But yeah,
What
so,
I liked is they really did take bloodbending to this like, shit level, because when me and Heather were watching season 3 of Avatar, we were always like, oh my god, the witch can bloodbend, what's she gonna do with it? And then she made the rat dance, and I was like, oh, she's gonna like squeeze it and all the blood's gonna shoot out. But it's never as scary as you think it could be.
I thought she was gonna like extract the blood and make a blood whip.
I thought you could pull the blood out of
the moon turns red and it's anime all of a sudden and it's real.
Right away we're thinking like these crazy
the worst
violent
things ever
sequences.
that will not happen on Nickelodeon.
But it's yeah.
And this season comes around.
And they still don't go that bad, but he's gonna
I swear he's gonna break Aang's neck or something. I'm like, dude, he's twisting him wacky.
Yeah.
And he's twisting everyone, but it's usually like, now I can get away because you all got bent.
Yeah, he should have yelled at some point.
Shit could have got a lot worse.
Harold.
I'm making the wolf dance.
All right, here, and I think we're coming to the biggest problem with the finale. We really enjoyed the series. Biggest problem with the finale.
There was not enough of that cabbage guy.
There was not enough of the cabbage guy.
He had a minor role.
Yeah, I think you should have seen more of him. More Bolin.
That's true, actually. That's a true complaint. Bolin was really underplayed.
Sacrifices don't have weight if
there's
a redo button.
The fix everything button, which is located on Korra's forehead.
And as happy as I was that certain characters got their powers back, I was like, now that scene doesn't have as much weight. If I
now we get to the moment of the picture I want. I want a picture of Korra, and this could be shot from over the shoulder of Aang. Let's sketch this out. Should we go to the camera?
Okay.
Alright, let's go to camera 2. This is the picture I want, and while we do this, we'll discuss it.
Alright.
Because this is the biggest beef I had at the ending.
I gotta move this camera around a bit.
Don't move it too much, it's gonna freeze.
Okay.
Alright, I want a picture of Korra standing there. And
facing which way?
Facing 3/4 left towards camera. And it's over Aang's shoulder or just his arm. I want him pushing the button on her forehead that says fix everything. And it goes boop. B-O-O-P. And she's like, gay. Hooray! So, this is my big problem with the ending, and a lot of people's big problem with the ending, because once again, weight is based on, things actually happening, and when everything can be undone with the history erase button, camera can actually come in even tighter and just be the sleeve. You don't have to even see Aang.
Give me a job, Nickelodeon.
I'd cut it off here and make more depth, so it's down the arm. This is called learning drama. No, it's freezing. Why is this camera freezing?
Oh, it's too bad. It was getting really awesome.
All right, we'll come back. Some of you may think this, some of you may not. My problem is there's something very of a Miyazaki ending at the moment. The one story I tell everyone. This wasn't apparent in Kiki's delivery service, maybe because of translation, or maybe just you have to observe it differently. I read the the art books they have for all the Miyazaki's, beautiful. And in the end, often they have the storyboards. And at the very end of Kiki's Delivery Service, if you've seen it, great movie, she gradually loses her connection to talking to Gigi and her magic. She can't talk to the cat anymore.
She has
and it's miserable. Honestly, it's so beautiful how
she loses
well
herself.
they convey how miserable this character is in her ruts. And she eventually gets out of it and becomes, she's really good at the broom now. And I feel like that moment, now that I've had time to think about it, it's kind of at that point she kind of chose her main ability.
Yeah.
Kind of like her mom does potions and other people do other things. Because in the storyboard it said, after Gigi joins her, and even in the movie he just goes meow, and it's musical, and then they have a thing. It said in the storyboard, Gigi joins her again. She'll never hear him speak again, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And that's all it says. And I just sat there like, oh my god!
He is still a cat.
It's now he's just a cat to her. He's as much as any household. He will not speak to her again, and that's the end.
Well, she loses that.
And I thought that was sad, but I'm it's also kind of fitting of that kind of growing up. And
it does feel like that, it's just the maturity that it's like.
And to tie this to Avatar, I thought was oh my god, she lost all of her abilities, but she has her airbending, and now she's going to focus on that and be grateful. And
and then she's gonna save the day with airbending and maybe Avatar state.
Yeah,
but
and help rebuild where things have fallen apart, and maybe do the balance thing, figure out why is bending wrong or right and stuff. And I thought that was crazy. I'm next season's gonna be so interesting because now she gets to learn airbending.
She's an Avatar that had all the powers that came easy to her are gone now.
Yeah.
So the whole rest of it is just gonna be this clumsy airbender trying to
learn airbending, because she only the first 4 episodes did she really train. You never see her training again after that. It's only it basically goes to Bender's game, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then it's all Amon stuff. And so I was thinking, this is the time now. She's with airbenders. She's now the first of the new airbenders that aren't blood related. And
That's
it's
true.
like, I'm like, this is interesting because now she has the potential to like have, I guess, more airbenders in the world if she like whatever. But the point is, it's like that was an interesting ending. And then ring 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 on the banana phone, and Aang shows up. And goes,
I did think it was cool when he showed up though too, but and I was waiting for her to go
everything
Avatar
is
mode,
better.
but because now it's like next season is her like
in line
in the banana stand where she's fixing everybody, and they're coming to the banana stand, and she's
for some reason,
fixing
draw
this
that, write
part.
that down for me.
banana stand.
Cora's in the banana stand with Michael Cera.
There's always money in
She's
the
like
banana stand.
poking this lineup of people who lost all their powers. Because it's like, here's the first ending. First ending could have been, you're an airbender, Aang shows up and says, sucks, but hey, I was airbender, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and a lot of people
Continue
have just
the
one
airbenders.
power.
It's cool.
Yeah.
You're a different kind of avatar now. Maybe the age of the avatar is over. I don't figure now.
Yeah, maybe she's the last avatar.
You'll be the last of the avatars, and it's cool. And I'm like, okay, that's an interesting ending, but no, they had that thing. All right, so
Yeah,
alternative
fix
second
everything.
ending. Boop, fix everything button. Eyes glow. Cut.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we don't know what
What's gonna
happened.
happen next season.
We don't know what happened.
They didn't do that.
That would be really good.
They didn't do
She
that.
just goes Avatar mode, and then that's
Instead,
it.
she goes avatar mode right after being sad. And once again, it fixes it right away. Because it's like, I'm angry now. It's like, let her be. And it's like, I'm good now. Let's kiss.
Yeah.
So she kisses a guy. Good job. I'm happy for them. Icing on the cake.
Problem with that
because-
is he still hasn't broken up with his girlfriend yet.
Yeah, how's he going to explain this one?
So is he still gonna be like, we
He's
need
like,
to talk? Not now.
Didn't you see she
They're
took
gonna
an
be.
avatar
They're
state?
gonna
I
be
had to kiss
next
her.
season. They're gonna be married with kids, and Salami's like, we still need to have that talk. He's like, oh, I'm busy.
Later. I have to kiss Korra. We'll talk about it later.
Why always gotta bring up relationship stuff?
I'm trying to start a family with Korra, and you and your kids.
Yeah, I mean, we can admit he's been kind of a scumbag.
Oh, go kiss Bolin, for all that matters.
Yeah, and also too, she has a right to be pissed off, and he's all, Bolin told you. Oh, things are really confusing right now.
Yeah.
It's like,
There's a war. I want to kiss Korra.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a sec. But
Yeah.
let's go to the final. So the final ice on the cake, because too much of a good thing is always the best way to end a series.
you eat too much cake.
Our favorite metal bender, who's the best at bending metal.
Okay, yeah.
She gets the
Which is an amazing scene.
Which is
because
great.
he's like, and he's still lying, but he's like, give up the airbenders and you can keep your bending, and she's just.
Oh yeah. She sacrificed everything.
She won't tell anything. Also, she lets them go on the
making
flying
that sound all
bison,
weekend.
and she tears the shit out of metal airships. with
she wrecks
this
a ship.
epic bending because she knows this is probably her last ditch
Yeah.
effort to save
Yeah.
Tenzin and his family. She's,
That was it.
She's
They are the
an
last of the
amazing
airbenders.
character.
I will do this.
I don't know how. I mean, she's got a whole bunch of metal bending there,
Yeah.
but she's got legacy too. I mean, her mother created metal bending,
and she's mastered it.
but I mean, she's willing to give it up
and
because
she
she cares
did,
for her
and
friends.
it's a big
and
big
she handles it really
sacrifice.
serious. Like she faces it really bravely, and even when it happens, it's like the rain and the profile, and it breaks my heart, And then, yeah. It's like I'm
Because,
happy
like,
for her,
because
but
now-
I felt like she still would have been a really strong character
Yeah,
just
like,
without
she
bending.
could've just
I felt
been
she'd
like,
still be a
let's-
badass. Just
Let's get
have
our
her metal
men back
bending.
into shape and let's just patrol the city and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
now and then like worst of all, it's like I got them all back, lift every rock, big moment, right, guys? I'm like, no, that's what you did before you sacrificed, and it was important because it's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, she's a badass, and she moves all the rocks. Now it's like, I lost everything. Wait,
Yeah.
So
Boop.
here's my third alternative ending. So first, it should have been just like, all right, you're an airbender, rocket.
I like just.
Second,
I like
Avatar
Avatar
State
State.
cut.
Don't know what's gonna happen.
Third could have been, I give you back your bending, but you gotta start from scratch. Sorry, that's what happens.
I did
and it'd
feel
be
like-
interesting if she's like, it's gonna take a while, and she makes like a rock go like.
Instead of being like, yeah, it's
and
back.
she'd be like, it's gonna take a while, Korra, but we'll do this together. High fives. And it's like, all
Yeah,
right,
I like you
now
now.
everyone has to start again, so everyone's equal in this weird sort of way. Like this is like a reset in an interesting way. Everyone is now Aang or whoever trying to learn
Starting
everything,
again.
and now we're in this city of people who had something and lost it all, and are now almost equal to the normal people, but are going to be growing stronger than them. That could be interesting new tensions. But no, there's going to be a banana stand in season 2. The Korra give everyone the boop, and we're good to
Yeah.
go, and everything's solved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's theory that Lynn got her bending back in her mom's tomb. We don't know if she's dead. Oh, maybe Korra, Katara said everybody's
Last
gone.
airbender.
Yeah, kind of disappointing. I mean,
So
when
that's-
Cora got her power back, I was like, oh, don't give it back to Lynn, because as much as I love Lynn, I didn't want her to. You know, it was like that moment meant something, and then I was like, oh, we're good.
But here's the other troubling thing. So now she's the Avatar, and as we all know, the Avatar has the power to take away. That was the big deal at the end when Aang did it. You're like, oh my god, he found the solution. He just stripped him of his powers. But now that we know she can also give them back, she's basically going to be like, you know, these punk waterbenders were found causing trouble at the water store. And she's like, ugh, you're restricted from using your power for 2 weeks. It's like, oh man.
Yeah.
So basically she's just going to be this like nanny who's like taking away your powers for, you know,
extended amount of time.
Well, no, like detention or for like being grounded. She's like, you're grounded. Boop. Or what's the opposite of boop? It's poop.
Poop.
And then 2 weeks later, she's like, all right, you've been good. Boop. And now everyone has or has bending.
Can she give power back? Creepy Porpoise says is that she can give them back, or is she reverse blood bending?
Well, she doesn't know how to,
yeah, she doesn't know how to blood bend, so I think she's avataring them. Oh, Proto Wilson says, can she give powers to anyone? Like people who never had them before?
I was thinking
Probably.
that.
Yeah.
But I guess the idea was she learned
You can be a bender.
Right
you can be a bender.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Like, yeah, like I'll say that then. Like, she reversed the blood bending blockage. If she went into the brain and was like, move that thing over there, good to go. Fine. But it's too easy. It's like, everything is dandy now, so it's all like, the only thing that's wrong is the city is kind of broken, but no one ever talks about that in TV shows.
We'll just go on an adventure.
Spider-Man gets stuff shot up all the time and no one really cares. It's like, well, let's fix the city.
True.
Before the next fight, we better get those buildings back in place.
Oh, dang.
Spidey's gonna look spectacular tomorrow.
Those back up, yeah.
You know, when he fights the Vulture.
Yeah.
Creepy old man.
Gotta say though, I mean, despite those things, I'm like, I still had fun watching it.
Oh yeah, no,
like,
I still enjoyed it.
You know, Aang shows up, I'm like, oh, it's Aang!
Yeah,
they kiss, I'm just like, oh, okay, go for it. But
you earned it.
It's afterwards,
Yeah,
it's kind of
crazy
like,
kids.
yeah, you think about
Like,
stuff. But.
her when she lost, like you saw the trailers of her losing her bending to Amon, and you're like, it's not gonna happen, right? It can't
then
happen.
it totally happened.
When then, I'm like, dude, this series went bonkers bananas.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, you're good. Everyone's good. Everyone else want to be good? Right, y'all good. 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 Oh well.
Yeah. But still had fun.
Yeah,
beautifully done. Great characters.
It.
I will watch season 2.
And it's not even like an ending where you can like Lost, where you can be like, how else could have they ended it? There's too much expectation. I'm like, there's so many different ways you actually could have ended this one. Like this one, actually, there's a lot of different ways you could have gone about it. But like once again, I appreciate the ride.
Yeah, I'm so happy the show exists.
Yeah.
They did a beautiful job with it. I really hope this, you know, there will be more stories. Like, just keep doing great with stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, they seem to listen to the fan base, and it seems like the fan base is a little kind of with that end. So
with the boop ending.
With the boop. So if anything, at least maybe it'll give. Yeah, maybe it'll give.
I don't want you
some incentive for where to go. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's already.
You get a bending, and you get a bending, and you get a bending. Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think that's my complete thoughts.
Bending for everyone. That's hilarious.
I have to save Brave for next week, giving you guys some
I actually have not eaten dinner
11.
yet, and I've worked a 14-hour workday, so I need to go. But this has been delightful.
Yeah, we tore up some stuff.
Yeah. I'd say we'll give you guys a week to watch Brave.
All right, you guys have a week to watch Brave in 3D or otherwise.
That's your homework, is to watch Brave. I'd say I didn't really like the 3D. I find when I watch 3D, it blurs a bit.
Well, okay.
Like maybe we were sitting just a tad too close.
The only problem,
but it's
I don't
big
even know
action,
if it was
I couldn't
3D.
tell what was going on.
There's some weird thing where stuff, like certain text showed up in the bottom left that was supposed to be 3D, but it was just on the screen, and that was like some weird glitch. But I'm not going to add that to my review. I do. Actually, this is you guys' homework. Because of this, David and me were talking, and also IGN was doing this. Everyone started making their Pixar list, top to bottom. So have your Pixar list ready for next week, because I got mine.
Oh, okay, me too.
I know what's at the bottom, and you probably, if you know me, you know what's at the bottom too.
1 or 2.
3, actually, all 3. Wait, what?
There's a third one?
Oh, no, I'm talking about my bottom 3.
Yeah.
It is 1 and 2, and something with bugs. That's your tints.
You obviously haven't watched Bug's Life with me and Heather.
We'll talk about it. But, you know, once again, even the bottom of Pixar is like the top of the world. So don't worry about it. But next week we'll talk Brave. Do you imagine we'll be a 9 o'clock show next week as well? Are we going to be 9 o'clock until August?
I don't know. I honestly didn't think I would be late again, but this show is kicking my butt.
Yeah. So good for you guys on the West Coast.
We'll keep you in the loop a couple hours beforehand.
Stay tuned to the Tumblrs and the Twitters if you want to find out what's coming up. Twitter.
Katie Shy.
Shaggy Sham. What? Shaggy Sham on Twitter.
I'm so tired.
Katie Shy.
Right here.
Go to Facebook and look up the Shanahannigan's Facebook page. We need to get some people over there because we haven't actually promoted it at all.
Yeah.
We should redirect the website to there for now.
I will figure that out.
We'll start using it more.
I haven't been able to touch it since, but I saw you told people that we were airing.
I'll be doing stuff there. So updates will be going on there and our Twitters. But
fan art goes there.
Because the only thing about Twitter is like Twitter goes. You guys are following like 300 people. So if I post, oh guys, the show's gonna be late, it's gone.
Yeah, you're not gonna see it.
So check out the Facebook page. Like that Facebook page.
How does it go? SHANAHANIGANS.
Boop.
Yeah, just find that on Facebook.
Next week we'll definitely talk about Brave because I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
Don't worry.
Yeah. We will talk about it next week. What a way.
Here's a little sneak peek.
I need to eat. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys.
The book is once again Silly Kingdom. You're going to want to check it out. You want to get your copy because we're down to our last.
After this, it's going to be a little while till we reprint.
We have to send a bunch off to the
Trickster,
to the Dragon, to the kids
and
thing, so and Trickster. So we're running out of books. Don't know when the next reprint is.
I've actually got 2 going out tonight. So if you just ordered one this week, it's going out with this guy. He's taking it to a post office.
Probably deliver it. SillyKingdom.com will take you to the blog that you can also check out some fan art. If you guys want to do your own fan art, send it to us. You can either send it to one of our emails or send it to sillykingdomcomic@gmail.com. We'll post that up for you. Also, if you just want to make silly images and stuff based on any of the shenanigans in the chat or on the show.
Flexbox seems to be king of that.
Flexbox is basically running that.
If we give out like stars or medals for things, he's got like a whole.
He has like a vest, medal, badge of honor. So check out the Facebook once again because that's where all that kind of stuff is going to be showing up. Cautionary Fables and Fairy Tales is also the book you want to check out. Got many arts from many artists, many writings from. Actually, most of them are also from the artists. We're like the only duo, I think. Look at me.
Good stuff.
I'm like an airbender without my other powers. I'm just a writer. But I do it damn good.
Oh, I guess we can take spoilers down.
Oh yeah, no more spoilers, guys.
Spoilers free.
Yeah, coming up. I don't think there's any events coming up just yet. I'll probably squeeze out an episode of talking to the camera for tomorrow. This is nothing going on lately, so I haven't had much to talk about. I'll sit down and make some real episodes soon.
Con Bravo!
Is Screen Porpoise. Con Bravo is coming up. You guys
Con Bravo is a comic convention. I think it's in its second
in July.
year.
Most of our events are actually
anime,
in July.
local Toronto stuff happening last weekend of July.
I guess it's next week, right?
So
we also got Atomic Lollipop will be coming up in Toronto, which is basically like a Ferris wheel fun time for anime people.
Yeah.
Where you get to like go in bouncy castles and cosplay. Never been, but it sounds like a treat. A little expensive though. BronyCon apparently is this weekend, I think. So check that out in New York, I think. I don't know. You can have fun there.
Amazing.
At BronyCon.
Video games.
You can talk about it. I still haven't finished season 1, so I'm behind.
Ponies.
We should watch that while we do stuff.
I need to eat.
Clean things and fix things. Alright, cool. Katie's running away.
Ciao.
I want to say goodbye to you guys. We'll see you every Wednesday, usually at 7:30, maybe at 9.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thanks for tuning in.
Have a good night.
And cheers.